Hey, audio test 1 2 1 2. Hey, John. Hey, Jay. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while, man.
It has been a little bit. Yeah.
Thanks for swinging by.
Wait, who joined?
A guy called Jay Dockleton. He's what a cool guy. He is as I remember, he is a licensed psychotherapist.
Oh, okay.
Cool guy. He does therapy and consultation on streams. Last I checked in. No, but technically speaking, not licensed yet. Oh, okay. Sorry. So you're in study. Gotcha. Sorry.
We're in the same discipline.
But Jay's a cool dude. I found out about him in the general circle I was running in for a good while there.
That's cool.
Well, yeah, he's also a what's it? Go back to 2021. Jesus, that was when I was first starting to circle around in the VTuber sphere. Cephalopod, yes. Well, I was trying to remember the really weird name I came up with. To be fair, it was pretty cringe, but I think it was like Cephalodude or something was something I used to call you. Not the greatest nickname, though. I was weirdly proud of it at the time.
I like it, Cephalodude.
Cephalobro.
I can't say I'm much better.
But yeah, Jay Doppleton is he's a cool guy. He's also someone who's actually getting certification in a field I find incredibly fascinating, that being psychology, having once studied neuropsych myself. So much respect. Benny?
Am I a joke to you? Anyway.
Well,
who said that? It must have been the wind. Okay.
Peppy over here is also studying in that field, though he's in a slightly different path. What were you studying again?
I'm doing primarily like psychology and stuff like that. That's why I'm interested in the most, at least.
Yeah.
Educational psychology.
You're also literally studying and living by a mental ex-mental institute.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but not now.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But yeah.
Let's not dox him.
Yeah. Let's dox my location.
Absolutely.
Live on stream.
Pebby the Pebble who lives at 8225 North. No, I'm kidding.
Pebby the Pebble?
Hey, that's his
lives at 123 Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Julian, how fucking dare you?
He's getting his doctorate in clinical psychology. So yeah, I've heard that a lot about people going through their doctorates. It's God. I still sometimes check in on like the doctorate subreddit. Every time I look in there, it's just people going like, "Why am I still doing this? Please give me some motivation to keep going. I hate this. Why did I ever volunteer myself for this?" It's a
I got a question for after the session.
Okay.
So we're beginning the session with positing a question you will ask afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that tracks. At the end of it, people are just fucking over it. Yeah, I can imagine it. You go for 4 years to get your BC, and then you go for your master's, and then your doctorate on top of that. And by the end of it, unless you've managed to find a program where you can space some years in between, you're completely burnt out. I get that. It's tons of money, tons of time, tons of time into something that, in the end, to be realistic, might not even be that rewarding. At least that's what the doubts will tell you. So again, much respect the fact that you're following through on it. Skip your master's. Oh, that's huge, man. It's still 7 years. Yeah, because it's a clinical field. Yeesh. Yeah, no, by skipping your master's, you shaved at least a couple years off of that. No, respect, man. That's huge. Anyway, so we have a session of Pathfinder to kick off. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Wait.
Well, I guess we're done here.
Yeah, we're done.
Roll
Wait.
credits.
Roll credits. Fucking 2-second credits from Nier Automata. Anyway. But yeah, Jay, thanks for swinging by. You're free to hang out if you like. Or if it was just a check-in, an in-call, if you will, then also still much appreciated. Or house call, I should say. Right, last we left off, you guys arrived back in the vampire city of Mordan, where you had checked in. Alright, thank you. Yeah, and enjoy the watch. Kick your feet up, have a seat at the table, enjoy yourself. Right, so Grim, nice. Welcome in. Starting off with self-care. Always good. Always a good way to kick things off. Yeah, the of disgust at Grim joining.
No,
The dread.
of disgust that we have to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Right as the
Well,
start
I'm
of
so
this session.
sorry, Mallory. Unstrip your spine. Do it now.
He didn't
Yes.
trip his spine. Everyone point and laugh.
So
Untrips spine breaks it.
yeah, just like uncurl the spine and just snaps halfway through it like a piece of dried jerky. So
you know what? Fuck you. Turns into a droidica.
perfectly.
Fuck
served.
you.
Yeah. So it's going to be shiny unicorn shrimp. Noted. Lovely. Looking forward to that doodle. Yeah, I also got an update on the portrait that Grim was drawing. Awesome. Posture banana shaped.
Oh.
That is a name to call somebody.
Banana shaped shrimp.
Banana shaped shrimp, yes. Right. So, all over the place. You guys finally arrive back in the Mordani Confederacy, its capital city, Mordan, home of the vampire lords and gothic monument to everything that is the punk rebellion against the Gadsrich papacy. Having arrived back, you guys checked in. You dropped your cargo off at the Alba, the so-called Wunderkind. Had a nice chat with the Pope. Surprise visit from him. And then met back up with your vampire benefactor, Stanislav Onvorstroyev, who, in the meantime, has also, after you said a quick but heartfelt goodbye to your witch companion, got to meet, coincidentally, for no other reason whatsoever, a brand new person who Stanislav has so elegantly foisted upon your company, promising you that he'll be a good match for you. That being Cannabis, who, to all markers, seems to be average-looking human by all accounts, though he is quite, or they are quite well dressed. Stanislav likewise promised that they would be able to handle themselves in a fight, no problem. But after that, you guys have stepped out of Stanislav's mansion, and as I understand it, a few of you have some things you intend to do. Some of you intend to hit the shops. Others intend to hit the gambling district.
Yes.
Team B.
I would have liked to know this before the session.
Ooh. Oops. New development.
New improvised development. I hope
You're an
you know.
entertainer. Improvise.
This means everything is going to be completely at random.
So it's gonna be the best thing ever.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
This cannot go wrong whatsoever. Right, so. Sorry, I realized that promising complete randomness when you guys step into a gambling house is actually encouraging. Allow me to rescind that.
No.
No.
So yes, a couple of you intend to hit the gambling house. What's the worst that can happen? Wasn't that one? Oh, yeah. Worst thing that can happen, you roll an at 20. House still wins.
Hey, and then we burn down the house because it's clearly
I would
corrupt.
like
Am I
to
right?
see you try. Especially since
I'm a right lads or I'm a right lads.
It's vampires. Casts daylight.
It doesn't. That actually doesn't do anything.
It doesn't actually hurt them. You would have to do things like Sunbeam or something like that. But my counter argument is, it's vampires. They cast greater darkness.
It's vampires.
Oh,
We
okay.
cast daylight twice.
Who's afraid of the little dark? I could just close my eyes and do that to
It's not
myself.
the dark you should be afraid of. What's in it?
Yeah.
But that said,
Oh, well.
I also like to see you burn down the house, considering it's made entirely out of granite.
Granite, these
Magic.
No,
Take it for granite.
no.
Mallory barely has them to begin with. Please don't tempt.
Damn, alright.
On the run from lone weresharks? No. Lone warehouses. Anyway, so,
Wait.
yes, a couple of you, just to be certain, who intends to go hit the gambling rings? I know Mallory wants to champion in that particular cause. Flick, you declared an interest?
Yes.
And Siren?
I will go and check it out and see.
Be the guiding
it's
moral
like.
compass.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to the sleaziest bin in the town.
Oh
boy.
boy.
And now just so I know, Kara, you intended to hit up the smith. I believe Cannabis as well intended to do so.
Yeah, no, I'm following Karya.
He was following me when my fuck ass brother showed up and called me a bitch.
Yeah, he called you a bitch to your face. Yeah. Anyway, Raiko and Vark, what do you intend to do? And for just a note to the side for the folks, Vark's headset unfortunately fell apart, or Vera's headset unfortunately fell apart. So he is currently only able to communicate through text. He can hear us, but he can't speak.
Oh no.
He's
I
a mute.
believe it was
Google.
floated at one point to potentially use like Steam chat, or no, you guys were just using that for Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, we were playing Baldur's Gate earlier, and that's where he was using it, but that's it.
Imagine that I could also like go over and connect through Steam chat. Maybe we're no, then we get doubled up speech. We only have to be between the two of us. That'd be weird. So yes, Chaika, what do you intend to do in the in-between time? Now that you have a small break before you guys have to head off north and deal with the bandits.
Well, remember what I wanted to do last session? Wanted to make things.
True, that's true. So
And
Chaco.
also,
Chaco in
All
typical fashion is going to be sequestering herself away for a bit.
also, we need to share that spell with one of Stanislav's folks.
Right, yes, that's on the docket. Also, Grim makes a decent point. Though I have the audio for Roll20 muted at the moment. Would Vera use the Roll20 voice? It is kind of shit quality. But I think it's the
So,
headset itself
I believe,
that it won't
yeah, so what ended up happening, just to save Vera the typing, is that he had his mute toggled, and then his mic broke and made it so that he could not untoggle the mute.
Right.
So his mic still technically works, but he can't unmute.
Oh, that happened to me with my old microphone.
Alright. Well, those fantasies are dashed. Anyway. So Chaiko's busy making some stuff and talking to a guy. Yara, Mark, let me know. You can type it up in the Roll20 chat if you like. I do have that open on the side. And let me know what exactly you intend to do with your day. Meantime, let's get this shit rolling.
Let's go gambling.
It's only in well or in tears. So, we'll start with Chaiko since she's on. Chaiko, you are going to do what you do best, and that is put your nose to the grindstone and make shit. In this case, on top of that, you're going to make shit happen.
Aw.
Namely, I would say you are supplied with lodging for your guys' stay here, courtesy of Stanislav. And should you need a workshop, he's going to be able to hook you up. He's become aware of the fact that you need a good forge in order to work at any point you stop through. So, in the meantime, while he wasn't able to get some of the finer stuff, he did, in the month since you've been gone, establish a decent contact with one of the local smithies. They will, on commission, rent out their they will on occasion rent out their forge for you to work with if you wish. In the meantime,
Okay.
Stanislav is getting in contact with his mage friend to get him in the same room as you, and so you can share that spell of yours. Once that starts getting disseminated, that's going to make a huge difference. This is how wizards spread their names. But yes, the last anybody sees of Chaiko after she gets done spending an hour teaching this wizard her new spell that she invented, is, I assume, holding herself up inside of a forge with a set of jeweler's set of jeweler's tools and I think sculpting tools as well. After that, nobody sees her for the rest of the day, I believe. Unless you have something else you'd like to add.
No.
Okay.
I'm gone.
Excellent. Then we can move
Eh?
over to... Oh,
I was like, if anyone does try to come, if anyone tries to find me, I want to yell them away. Yell them away. Leave the book alone.
yep. Jacko is in full concentration. Has dropped into a sort of crafter's fugue. So,
Been
we
too
will
long.
move over to Karia and Kanabos. Karia, it's running into your
Indeed.
half brother may have been a bit of a discouraging event, but you've got something to look forward to at least hopefully. Got some familiar faces here within the city. You've got one forge in particular that you remember talking to rather heatedly the first time, but since then you've established something of an understanding. Doesn't take you long to be able to make your way to the step. Check something. Have I got this correct?
His doorstep once again.
The doorstep knows.
Yes, the smithy shop known as Fangs and Tongs.
Correct. Well, I may as well step inside.
Okay.
As they're sort of saying, stepping inside, Carnival's will actually look to Kari and say, "So I don't mean to pry, but what was that all about?"
Oh, yes. What?
The big scary dragon dude with the dragon head.
Oh, well, that is my brother. One of many. Though notably, that one is what I would like to call the largest of phallic instruments.
Excuse me. Just blinks at you.
Vair will actually chime in
Okay.
and say he's the oldest of the litter. He's the eldest of all the half dragons under Orthos. He's also, like my brother says, a huge tool.
Indeed.
Oh. Yeah, he kind of looks like one.
Yes, it is a defining quality. Slightly prickishness.
Vair's actually going to stop and kind of look himself over. He
Yes.
just looks at you,
No.
just like, you know that kind of implies
Don't worry about that. We'll figure that out later.
wait,
I don't know. We have bigger things to deal with. Anyways,
like giant
time
tools.
to... Yes, indeed. We need to see how things are going.
So, when you step into Fangs and Tongs, the little brass bell above the door chimes, as usual, as you step in, and the counter at the front is, at the moment, empty.
Oh,
The shop is as you remember it, though the inventory has swapped around a little bit. You've got a section, you got mannequins on which there are pieces of armor arranged for the perusal of potential customers. You have racks with weapons, and also over one of the forge mantles, previously where Counterspike hung, you see what looks to be some sort of trident in place, with the display of honor.
if only Hollow Hollow hadn't left. That would have been a wonderful thing for him.
After a couple of
Oh,
seconds,
the weird fish. The weird fish guy.
after a couple of seconds, there's a voice coming through from the back going, "Be with you in a second."
So what you looking to buy here today?
Nothing. I'm looking to make good on a promise, or rather, I need to. I suppose it was never in writing, though we came to an agreement of some kind last when I was here about a year ago, and
Yeah,
I
that
figured I
pro-
would see how things were going.
And
that
that
I
promise
can
was?
It's then that the gnome, vampire gnome from last time, shoulders his way through the door from the back, holding what looks to be a box of ingots or something of the like, with a pair of tongs haphazardly hanging out of it, that he then just, like, plants on the floor, which blocks the door open, dusts his hands off, and then waddles his way over to the or plods his way over towards the counter, his heavy work boots flomping along the cobblestone flooring. Is he then up on a step stool, brings himself up to the counter, and says, "Right, how can it 2 for 2?"
What do you mean 2 for 2? Was my brother just here?
Yeah,
Not this one.
that was your. Oh, that makes sense actually. Oh, he's red. You're purple. Anyway, doesn't matter. Two dragon folk in one day is a bit rich for my blood. But hey, at least I recognize your face. I usually turn him away at the door when I can get the opportunity.
Oh, this one. He'll kind of point to, kind of.
No, not this lad I've seen around. But no, I'm talking about your eldest.
Oh, wait a moment. He's been here before.
He
Do I
occasionally
look like a dragon to you?
he occasionally comes on by any commissions of peace. He's very, how to put this? I'm used to working with
Biggish.
the entitled here in the
Oh.
city, but something about his heritage, more than even the vampires, makes him feel like he's entitled to literally everything I own.
Yes, he unfortunately takes very much after my father.
I hate to admit, I hate to
can't-
admit your father, if that's the case. At least his
No,
gold's
no,
good. But
Indeed. Though I can probably promise you that if it's from my father's hoard of any kind, and if my brother had anything to do with it, it probably was secured by dubious means.
look at the city
But-
you're standing in.
Precisely.
I wouldn't be set up here if I wasn't ready for shady lucrative. So, completely shifting gears away from that, what brings you here? Hopefully nothing shady.
No, actually, quite the opposite. We'd spoke quite a long time ago about getting me a claw of some kind.
Yeah.
However, with the news from Stanislav coming in while I was away, I've heard that there has been some trouble in the north gaining the materials that we were looking for.
Aye, that's the case. Everybody was very excited about a potential new avenue and a new source of minerals. In particular, when rumor had it that we might be getting some fresh magical minerals in. And then the rumors dried up. Apparently, there has been some waylaying, and nobody seems fit to try and invest in that when there's no certainty that it's even going to happen. So we
Indeed,
had a
that
whole
is-
lot of nothing happening here.
Yes, I've been told there's some bandit lord staking claim on my, on the province.
Gives you an askance look when you say "my." He says, "Yeah, so not necessarily super new, though. Usually any bandits we see cropping up there don't tend to last very long. What with the environment and all that. I guess the warmer climate has made things easier for them because man, he is knocking over a lot of caravans. Again, nobody seems fit to do anything about it because the only caravans being knocked over are the House Stanislav, or the House Vostroyev caravans. So, as far as most of the lords are considered, until some actual profit comes of it, they're not really in any position to do anything about it. It's only the Vostroyevs that are tanking the damage, as it were. Tanking
Well,
the
that is
losses.
partially why I've returned. We had caught wind. I've been keeping up with Stanislav for quite some time now, and well, aside from my brother and I looking to purge the deep curse from our bodies, then that is the secondary goal. But we
Oh,
are
deep curse?
at least. I'm sorry.
Is this about a deep curse?
Ah, yes. I'm the scale difference. My brother and I, I am sadly unwell. However,
Is it?
the intention is to.
He kind of like gives you a look over and goes, "Is it contagious?"
No, not for any competition like this, or any conversation like this. Now, if I hung around in your back room for about a week or so, yes. However,
So let's just
no.
start like slowly nudging, going away, just moving to
A
the opposite.
strange malady, but I won't argue.
No, trust me, I've seen some quite advanced cases, and I would like to say that I'm surprisingly not unwell. Be that for the way that my brother and I commune our magics, but I won't bore you with the details. I'm sure that's not why I'm
Alright.
here.
Be careful with who you say that to. Also,
It's neither here nor there right now. Most importantly, well, I intend at the very least to clear up this business in the north, and once I do, my hope is to get my hands on some mithril, adamantine, whatever they may have up there. We don't necessarily know. Perhaps there's some new metal up there that we haven't heard about.
It wouldn't be beyond me. Nobody knows what's up there. It's both I suppose it's a silver lining of all the prospectors dying every time they go up there. The mystery has never been so rich.
Indeed. And it is partially the reason that I've returned as well, because frankly, if someone is going to be stepping in and harming our profits, and frankly trying to claim land that I have claimed as my own, he grits his teeth a little bit. Well then,
Yes,
I intend to clear that up.
perhaps.
First,
He rolls his eyes and says nothing quite as bitter in terms of rivalry or a conflict as it comes when it comes to land grabs.
exactly. Though I didn't ever expect to have anybody try and fight for a land grab in a wasteland, but I digress.
Well, as I hear it, you guys are responsible for it not being one. I think that's why they see
Indeed.
the appeal in it now. Nobody wanted it while it was still shit, and you guys were in charge of it. Now it looks halfway decent. You're gonna have some desperate schmucks who are gonna come up there and try and take it from you.
I suppose it was to be expected, but regardless, my intention is to be there and we should be leaving hopefully relatively soon.
That's encouraging.
Indeed, and once I do, I'd like to sit down and at least plan out something with some of the materials we may bring. I don't suspect we can make a dragon claw out of everything and anything, and indeed, if I am to be truthful with you, I believe it may be a multi-person job. If
I would say so
That's
as well. Listen, lad, I understand you've got your dreams. I do regret how heatedly I responded this time, but I still stand my point on some factors. Namely speaking, if you want to make something anywhere approaching that size and with that much material, it's honestly it's either going to be a multi-purpose it's going to either be a multi-person job in a purpose-made forge of higher size and higher temperature, because to heat mithril and to heat adamantine, I've only gotten to work on mithril twice and I've never gotten to touch adamantine, but in the few times I've managed to study guides on how to do either one, it requires a high steady temperature. The larger your forge is, the harder it is to maintain that high temperature. If you have a large weapon, particularly one meant to emulate the size and shape of a dragon's claw, you want to keep that at a high temperature. That's hard enough with steel. With something like adamantine, and as resistant and as it is, that's going to take some serious motor. I'm talking a large magical forge operated by enough people to hammer all of that metal before it cools and before the forge burns out or destroys itself from the amount of energy it's going to have to exhibit. That, mind you, is going to have to be an entire team of master smiths all working in unison to accomplish the creation of a singular weapon. While
indeed,
that is a project worthy of a king. Being able to gather that many accomplished smiths in one place to work on a singular weapon is a commission, a project that is something a kingdom would stake its fortune on and then use as a headpiece a ruling dynasty. While that is not
Indeed.
impossible, given the correct connections, there are other ways of going about it.
Would you be interested in maybe being one of those master smiths for my friend here? And he's gonna play over.
If I could put my name on a project like that, as crazy as it sounds, I would be convinced. The likelihood of it happening is why I am so effusive in my protests. Now, I've done some research since you've been gone.
Tell.
So, sourcing the material is still going to be on you. That being said, if you've got your fingers directly in the supply chain for potential vein of adamantine, if that should ever happen, that should be less of a problem, though I am not overstating it when I say most veins of adamantine come in fistfuls before they run dry. You're going to be collecting a lot of very valuable minerals before you're able to make something of that size. That said, for the labor aspect of things, how much do you know about giants?
Well, if I'm to be honest with you, about as much as you told me when we first met. You told me to find one, and I was unaware that that was, conjecture.
What would be the knowledge roll to
History,
know anything
I would
about
say.
history? Okay, I have A rank at that.
For what?
Knowledge about giants.
27.
Giants.
So, cannibals. You know that supposedly the giants were one of the first major civilizations to exist here, at least as far as recorded history goes. They came before the dragons, and according to what some historians propose, given some old documents that have been unearthed, though they are contested because they are translated from a very old version of giant, that being the language. One that is more resembling an archaic form of an elemental tongue. They were one of the first civilizations to establish themselves. They're old, very, very old. They were the first. When it said they're the first civilization, that is meant in every interpretation of the meaning. They settled the entire world. They founded cities and nations, not unlike what you see among humanoids and goblinoids and all others now. There was a time where they had a golden age that spanned the entire planet. They were masters of magic, craftsmanship, culture, poetry. They established not an empire, but a republic of high standing. Something that some historians suggest is pale beyond what even the current world can accomplish. Specifically because they're innate masters of magic.
One of us is going to kind of recite a majority of that information, but it's going to sound less narrative-y and more like college notes that he...
Basically,
that he
in the Sparks notes.
Yeah.
Judging by your using of the past tense, I suspect that this does not end well.
Cannabos will continue to go on to say that it was the dragons who eventually rose to replace the giants. The giants, their golden age waned and they receded. They started retracting into their own nations that they would share land with the dragons, and eventually it started becoming more and more isolationist, retreating into places like mountains and clouds in the deep earth, with the ocean. And then the midnight sun happened. And after that cataclysm hit the world, the giants, for the most part, either retreated into the elemental planes were treated to the most hermetic and isolated spots in the world.
Congratulations, Karya. Dragons put them out of business, and then that happened.
That there are dragons, sorry, not dragons, that there are giants still potentially somewhere in the world is a definite possibility, though they are rare, they are secluded, and they don't like to be bothered. That said, here and there are still rumors of where one might be found, and when you reach the conclusion of this description, Kanabos, the smith in question says, right, and mind you, this is only hearsay, so the few people that managed to make the trip in, and I don't know if you plan on going that way, it's a bit of a detour from the trip north. Supposedly, there is one fire giant smith who makes his home in Firegrove Valley. If there's anybody who could potentially do this without having to set up a brand new forge, get a whole team of people working on it, it would be him. Only, here's the problem, you gotta make friends with him. Because no fire giant is gonna you're never gonna be able to make a fire giant make something for you under duress. And for most people, or I would say pretty much all people, barring maybe friggin' the gods above and Barafucius, you piss off a fire giant, they'll do one of two things. They'll turn to ash, or they'll just consider you so beneath their notice they'll just take 2 steps to the side and disappear into the fire pit forever and gone. Nobody ever gets to interact with them again. As I understand it, a lot of there's even a couple parables out there somewhere of giants who have been harassed into doing favors for people so much that they just eventually became so sick of living on the material plane they left and never returned. So
just a lot of people getting used. That's
so
don't be persistent.
Be persistent. Be a bother.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, giants are, at least as I understand it, very patient. And remember, they hold grudges for a very long time. So the nursery rhymes go. So, I don't know. I've never talked to a giant before. Most people haven't. I have to assume you could take 2 steps into his territory and he'll decide he never wants to speak to you again, and after that there's no way of changing his mind. Who knows? But I figured if you're going for something so far-fetched, you may as well try out a far-fetched rumor.
I have curiosity, then, if you may.
I mean, go ahead.
The worst that could happen is that he could just laugh at you and leave.
I'd say the worst that
Well,
could happen is he will flatten you into a paste.
That
Use your
too.
bones to
Oh.
make his bread.
Yeah.
Well, less of that. A fire giant makes his home in Firegrove Valley. Unfortunately, we may be having to take a detour there anyways, but you
Of
said
course,
that.
Okay. I don't know what business you got yourself mixed in if you have to go to Firegrove Valley.
Oh, trust me, I'm very, very unhappy about it, but it's neither here nor there.
Colin was in there just for the whole entire time. We were just kind of like staring off into space a little bit, but then he says Firegrove Valley like that, and we are going to Firegrove Valley. He's like, wait, what?
Yes, the pretty elf woman with the scales. I can explain later. She's very dumb, but very mean. She means very well. Anyways.
I think he's got a crush. Anyways,
Vair is like, it's just Vair looks at you, Kanabos, and gives you a meaningful look. If he had eyebrows, he would waggle them.
Regardless, you said that the giants had ruled for quite some time, and if my people's legends are to be believed, from what I've heard of hearsay, rumor, and apparently on account of some locals in the area, that the home of dragonkind is in that frozen tundra in the north, at least what once was a frozen tundra in the north. And the question then remains, would there potentially be a chance that there may be some ruins of giant kind up there? I don't know much of their history at all, and in fact, when you
As I
first spoke
understand
to
it,
me, I was-
there's giant ruins all over the world. There's ruins all over the place from all kinds of civilizations, and it's not uncommon, I hear, for people to go plunging into them to try and rescue treasures from ages past. I hear about dragon treasures. I hear about giant treasures. Some elven, even. I heard tell of elven burial grounds up north.
It's concerning for a different set of reasons, but
It's
yes.
it's a definite possibility, I would say.
Now,
I've heard tell of a giant city far north as well.
I see. What do you believe the likelihood could be that we may even encounter some in the north? Perhaps a snow giant, if those exist, or
And if you want to
probably
go
be
far,
dealing-
far.
Probably be dealing with a frost giant, or if you get up into the mountains, a cloud giant. Depends on how high up you are, but it's isolated enough, and there's very few people there. It's possible you might run into a couple. Honestly, it's so divorced from most of civilization. I wouldn't be surprised if you have more there than you would anywhere else in the world. It's so untouched in for however long it's been.
Well, I mean, you got the wheel turner very, very up north. I don't think you're talking anymore.
the what?
The constellation.
Oh, I
Is
forgot that those things were named.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Yeah, he's
You're,
supposed to be a
you're
giant.
one of those astrology types?
Columbus is just gonna look at his outfit and then look at him. How could you tell? How could you tell?
No, I couldn't tell past the star spangles. So yes,
I suppose if there's a chance it would be worth looking, we'll be up there.
I would
But on
say
the off chance.
I would say it's possible. Fire giant, I think, while they can, I think they're known for a bit more for their temper. Still might be your best bet because they're supposed to be the best fit and the best smiths among the giants.
Yes, indeed. Though my thought process was perhaps if I could find a ruin of some kind up there, if by all means a forge. But
An old
that's
giant forge, if you
highly
get that stoked again, that could serve purposes.
perhaps I could then use it as a bargaining chip. I don't know much about their culture, but
I'd be
if there's
careful
anything-
about that. Using somebody's lost heritage as a bargaining chip could be seen as insulting.
I believe bargaining chip is the wrong term. I would say
An
Gift?
offering, maybe.
yes.
I'd be
think
careful about how
offering
you
may be a
phrase
good
that.
idea. Yes, I believe I'll have to think on that. At the very least, I can give him the information. I would be interested if that's
Well, it
if
just so
not
happens
me.
you've got one of the. He gives Cannibals a nod. It just so happens you've got one of the foremost diplomatic apprentices in Mordan in your entourage at the moment. So if you ever need somebody to talk for you, I'm sure he's not a bad sight for it.
Kyra will turn to him. Would you like a job in the future?
I mean, well, what's the job?
Royal advisor. It is done. Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Oh, well.
Odds are still
what-
on about that.
What a promotion! I guess I got to tell my dad.
He's not a king.
Ah, well, that's just disappointing.
Not yet. But regardless of that, I suppose if it wouldn't hurt to look. I'll be up there anyways, and if I can find anything, perhaps I can at least share that information. Not necessarily as a bargaining chip, but at least something. And frankly, even if he's not interested, or she, or whomever giant I may find, I happen to have a smithy friend of myself who would probably kill to see a giant forge.
Ah, yes. Heard some things about her recently.
Indeed.
Well, I've
She is one
had
of the
some
people I
I've had some
would
inquiries about a portable magical forge.
Ah, I see. Chaiko's getting up to her things
It-
again.
Specifically, it was inquiries from some third party investors and buyers, totally unaffiliated with the House of Stroyev.
I see.
Yes. I'm sure that your friend would kill for a forge like that, and then kill again when she finds out that she's not able to drag it everywhere.
Indeed, but
It's not just
regardless,
the pain
I
of being,
intend
it's
to.
just the pain of being a traveling event. Still,
That is.
uh,
Regardless,
if you
she
can
may
free up
like
that
you at
supply
least.
chain, and we can find out whether or not there really is some worthwhile minerals up there, you got yourself a deal, and I'll do my best to get you hooked up.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. I intend to at least help in any way I can, and
Look, as much as
With
I've blew up at you
Jaiko-
before, it's very seldom I get a straightforward customer here. You're painfully earnest, and while that rubbed me the wrong way before, that's still a damn sight better than so much of my clientele. And I'm okay insulting them behind their backs because they do the same to me.
I don't like it here.
I-
But
Like I said, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't here for the profit.
I suppose that is commendable. But
Money speaks.
It really does.
Indeed.
Money
Okay.
shouts. Money shouts.
regardless, I won't
That's
take any
what
more of your
it's
time. I simply at least wished to tell you my intentions, and well, should I gather a small amount of resource, no matter how small it may be, I at least intend to have it shipped here first. I feel like that would be only fair for clearing up, well, our investment.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And hey, even if it's just a small amount, maybe we can make you a lance head or something.
I suppose that would be quite nice.
I think a brush pike might fit you. You got long arms.
We'll look at his arms. I suppose I do. And I will try to introduce you to Chaiko, my resident smith. Friend.
I've always been,
Resident
always been
friend
happy to
smith.
talk shop.
Indeed, I have intention of inviting her on this project, and considering I suspect the undertaking to be quite
It's going to
long term. Indeed.
Do you always
I-
look at people as like their what they can do like occupation wise or like?
Oh no, I consider them friends, but
Oh,
it is how do I put this? When you see them, it's quite easy to identify who I'm talking about, except for Chaiko. She looks strange. But when I say scholar, they look at Vark. When I say ditzy cleric, they look at Siren. And when they see brooding angel man, it's a lot of pent-up issues. And potentially an alcohol problem, well, they see Mallory. But it's far easier that way.
you know, I was actually gonna ask you about the others later and like what you thought about them. And I think you just answered my question very easily.
Oh yes. Indeed. Oh, and Pirate Man, Flick. I like him.
I like.
But
Yeah.
I hate the rest.
I hate the rest.
particularly that ditzy
Oh.
cleric. She makes me feel weird.
That stupid bitch.
That's stupid, Jesus Christ!
Oof.
Damn. Okay.
But yes,
Just kidding.
we're gonna switch scenes real quick, as we're gonna shift perspective. Speaking of an angel man with bad vices, let's go gambling.
Let's go gambling.
Wow!
Oh
Let's
dang
go
it!
gambling.
Dang it.
Oh, dang it.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so how dressed up y'all getting?
I don't have anything but my breastplate and my adventuring clothing.
I have an extra set of sleeves of mini garment. You can blow them back.
Should I just use it to like dress myself up a bit more, or should I look like a different person?
Dress yourself up a bit more. It's not an illusion. Doesn't change it's a different version. Just change the clothes.
Oh,
I
that's
would
true.
really recommend Flick not dress down though, because he's wearing a literal dragon, and I feel like that's a bigger statement than any of you can make right
I feel
now.
like I'm in the person's like head, like face.
Oh God!
If only I could warn
imagine
Flick.
if your half brother had seen that.
Precisely my concern, which is why I hope Flick stays indoors.
Indoors, indoors.
Yeah. So
Siren's
when
gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. So when Mallory gave Siren the sleeves of many garments, he would have turned over to Flick and then looked him up and down, watching what he's wearing right now. his equipment. He's like, "Hey, you're fine."
I was about to say, this is all straight from King's workshop. Might as well keep it on.
It looks very good. Meanwhile, Siren.
All the more for setting foot in a fancy establishment.
Yeah. Trying to fit into the vibe of the place, Siren's gonna take her ponytail, put into a bun, and then use the same many garments to, like, change her outfit to that of a more Donnie-like attire.
So you look like you're going to a lake.
Siren looming over people, like, it sounds funny.
She T-poses and looms, and like she does like the lean forward. But she's 5'6", so she has to look up still.
And she has like a little grin on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Can't
little
help but smile every time she does it because it's just so funny to her.
Yes, for Mallory, he's back to his blacks and reds, baby.
I just saw what
Mallory?
Grim just sent me.
What happened?
Grim just sent me an image. 1 second. I'm gonna show it on stream and I'm gonna send it in the Simple Path chat.
Yeah, I was about to say Mallory's got red and black. Flick has kind of like red, black, and brown.
Oh yeah. Siren's just got black.
Also, I can't overstate Grim. I like your doodles. Wait,
You're
Simple Path?
so sweet.
Oh, it's the shrimp.
It's the shrimp.
Mallory.
It's shrimp
Hey,
Mallory.
look, it's Mallory.
Oh my god, it's Mallory's fragile ego.
Damn.
Biblically accurate
I mean,
shrimp?
you're right,
I
but
like
damn.
to think so.
My ego is not fragile.
He whined. I'm not a whiner. Yes. So, let's go gambling. Siren is dressing in something a little more city appropriate, so a little more appropriate to the culture.
What could go wrong?
You look like, I'm going to say, you look like you're mourning your ex-husband.
Okay.
Generally speaking, the typical fashion is either flowing black robes and skull mask, or some similar, though maybe with more ruffles and frills, and a bit of lace, and a veil. So there's the options between the mask and the veil, and then either robes or frilly clothing.
I'll do the veil.
You're gonna go for the veil. Very nice. So you're dressed in what in any other situation would be seen as wake attire, something for when someone put to rest, which is absolutely purposeful in this regard, given the
Yeah.
culture you're in. And then you also have a veil covering your face, thanks to the properties of both the sleeves of many garments and also the what do you call it? And also just how Mordani fashion is done. It does very little to obscure your vision. It's gossamer thin and allows vision through while shielding your face.
Very good.
Mallory, I assume likewise, just dresses
That's
in.
the picture in a silk flap.
Ooh.
It's not mine.
Oh, I assume that's with the additional spider. What do you call it? Spider leather? What's it called again? Spider armor.
Yep, he's wearing the spider armor.
Excellent. So it's got that ribbing to it.
Yep. And the cane. I mean, isn't it any
Yes, you
more
have a
perfect?
sword cane. So
Mallory
Yeah.
after shrimpification, I love it.
also yes, Grim. This is supposedly Mallory after shrimpification. So thank you for that.
Mallory has undergone carcinization as well.
Yeah, you might as well start smoking. I mean,
Feeling crap.
finally
Become
became
crab.
a perfect being.
Crab.
As all evolution leads to, Mallory has become perfect and became a crab.
He wakes up and goes, "Oh hell yeah, baby!"
Perfect.
He undergoes the Kafka transformation, but it's a crab.
I'll have to imagine.
This is-
Because on another continent, there are animal-headed celestials. Now I just have to imagine what like crab celestial.
They just have no neck. Their eyes are just on a flat plane on their shoulders.
They are luminous.
Their mouths just have like, you know, it
I'm gonna have to
opens
talk-
up in sections.
I just
And
imagine
they
an
have a
actual
soft
just
spot.
crab.
We have to talk to Cam about that.
Yeah,
I wanna
it's weird.
draw
I
like-
almost imagine it's looking like a weird mix of like a crab and like a I don't know like a rhinoceros beetle or something.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna draw a human head with crab anatomy. So it's like a crab-shaped skull. So the eyes are...
Actually, given
That's
the
so
shape,
cursed.
given the shape you
Right.
described, Jake, that makes you just think like a hair across.
Oh yeah.
You know what? That's cool. So we'll
What about the crab humans? You're
Beetle
crabby
crab.
humans. You
Beetle
gotta-
crab.
You know, you gotta
We know
flatten
what-
the
Mallory's
plane.
already a crabby human.
You have crabs.
I do.
Ah, yes, deep
It's
And
the
I've
deep
shared
curse,
the-
not crabs.
I've shared those crabs with the rest of the party. Congratulations, you're
Oh
all
my
infected.
goodness.
But I'm a
Musky
cat. I have
crabs.
hair everywhere.
Musky crabs.
I'm going
Rumors
through
are like the
constant
deep curse.
pain.
Rumors are like the deep curse. Once you have them, you may as well spread it around.
That is...
Evil
that is...
Carmula.
Oh.
That's
That's
cursed.
fucked up. That's horrific. I'm sorry. Continue.
Arya,
please.
what have you done to us?
What it's
Now
me
I have
not
another
saying
question
something like
for
that?
after the session.
Oh
The sec-
no! Talia, what have you done? What have you done?
God.
Now get
Writing
over
these
here,
questions
cannibals.
you intend to ask down.
No.
Now get
Not
over
at
here,
all.
cannibals. I need to give you
I'm
some
gonna
beef
start.
first.
I'm gonna start asking, running away from.
I'm
Good.
writing them down on a piece of what's it called? Like there's a thingy that's wrapped around my box of macarons that I really should bring downstairs because I need them to read.
Uh-huh.
Gonna write down number 1 and number 2.
Have it to hand. I was waiting for this ad break to play out. Which, you know, sometimes I wait for the ads to play out, and then it turns out it's done before it otherwise would be, and never accurate. Anyway,
I didn't even get ads.
you can ad
I'm
block.
watching your stream right now.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I have an ad block.
It's fine. Twitch is going through an apocalypse anyway.
I thought,
That's
yeah,
why
no,
everyone's
it's
moving over to Blue Sky.
Well, that would help with
Sky.
Twitter.
That's
or at least one of the
Twitter.
reasons.
That's Twitter, Jake.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm completely.
Okay, buddy.
We're talking about Twitter.
They do sound very similar, and every time I go to shortcut type in Twitch, I get Twitter instead, which is always aggravating.
So,
But anyway, we're back.
though then again, it's only a matter of time before it happens to Twitter, anyways.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't you mean X?
Nobody
No.
calls it.
Twix, take
No.
it or leave it.
Twix.
Yeah, except when you have your Twix.
But that's a candy.
Here's the thing, though. You can have your Twix, but it will just make you even angrier. You're not yourself when you've had your Twix. Twinks works. Twinks works. Good catch, Jack.
Wings.
Twinks.
Oh, that reminds me of a video, but I'll also tell that later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just
Okay,
the
so
list is
keep
growing.
on the list.
Anyway, so
Yeah, I'm only writing down the numbers. I'm not actually writing them.
you don't think that's maybe a little self-defeating?
No, I'll
You
know
think
how
just
many
looking
I
at
had.
1, 2, and 3 will remind you of the questions they were associated with? Because that's how I used to do
There-
things, and that's how I forget shit.
There's a circle around the 1, 2, and 3.
You're right. I'm sorry. Anyway,
How detailed. Huh.
I'm not going to criticize you for your own note-taking methods. You're the one who's still in advanced education. I dropped out, so I don't have any right to criticize you. So, Mallory is dressing fancy schmancy like he's ready to take a night of the town and paint the town black. Siren looks like she's mourning her late husband, and Flick, I assume, actually hasn't changed all that much.
Kari,
You
you
look like
died?
a warrior who frequents
looks
the
like-
black market.
yeah. He looks like he's starting to become a proper ship captain.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
too.
Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, no, you're going in with a tricorn. You're
Yeah.
definitely going to stand out. So yeah,
Oh,
you,
hey,
uh,
look
Fine.
at Brightbeard!
No. He's looking like either a Bloodborne character or a or just a really dripped out ship captain.
We are
Freaking
born
red
of
mage.
blood.
you've got fine
Made
armor on.
men.
You've got a
Red.
cloak, and you've got a tricorn, as well as a very nice looking rapier. So yeah, absolutely,
And also that dragon scale arm harness.
it's true.
Which we're putting on the pool. No, we're not. We're not doing
Mallory
that.
wants to
Oh,
take
okay.
your belongings and
I was
put them
about
up
to
as
say, don't you
collateral.
dare try and sell this piece of armor. I worked really hard to get it.
I know how. Listen, Meta. I know how you roll. We are not risking the dragon armor. I'm not doing it.
You're not here. You don't get to say anything. Go.
Wait,
I will.
I can't-
If I can't eat the dragon part, I'll eat yours.
I can't
Don't
wait.
You
for
ate
the,
it!
Oh,
I reach out with the force to contact you.
I can't wait for the alternate portrait of Mallory post Zen loss.
Oh my god.
Oh, shut up.
Something,
Wait.
something.
Jay, Voralarm. Oh Jesus. No, Jay. It should be stated, the party a little while back managed to fell a dragon, and Karya here, honoring what he thought was a dragon custom, wanted to consume the dragon's heart to give it an honorable burial. Problem was, a dragon's heart for your average humanoid is about the size of their torso, and it's incredibly iron rich, as well as full of various heavy metals and magical minerals. So not only can you literally not eat that much meat in one sitting without killing yourself, you also got heavy metal poisoning.
Yeah. And I punched the shit out of him, and he threw up.
Yeah, you kicked him in
All
the gut, you
over
kicked him in
your
the gut, and you made him vomit all over the cart.
All over your shoes and the
Well-
card.
I have fastidiousness.
Giving me cancer and heart disease all at once. Exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway,
If I can't multitask, who can?
Me.
Actually, no, I was going to say, speaking of cancer, but Karya's not here. Liver of a polar bear who has been living in the Stalker Chernobyl exclusion zone. Exactly.
Okay, man.
Cocaine bear.
No, have you guys heard about what do you call it? What is it in a polar bear's liver that can kill somebody?
yeah, it's a polar
Oh,
bear,
yeah.
What is in a polar bear's liver that kills you though? Because it's so high in a specific, I believe, specific
Vitamin. It's a vitamin.
vitamin.
Oh,
As a B2, I think. It's so much
Oh.
I
that,
don't know.
Was
it's like enough to kill 11 men. Vitamin.
Vitamin A.
Vitamin A.
Yeah, it was yeah.
Okay, so gambling house, the sleaziest, beeziest, freaking easiest place to lose everything.
500 grams or 16 ounces of polar bear liver would be enough to poison a person lethally. So yeah,
The most bombastic looking place ever.
yes, the gambling house of the vampire nation, bombastic. Yes, you guys roll up looking fancy and dapper to the nines, ready to try and clear house. As all three of you arrive in a ménage à trois entourage.
Hey, let's not say that.
Why not? Well, you guys
Oh.
make a killer team. Also, you guys did end up technically sleeping in the same bed together for a while.
No, we didn't.
How do you know? You were drunk.
No.
Oh, that's fucked. Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
they all just they
He's
piled you all into the
snoring
same bed for a bit until you sobered up.
Mallory is
Mine is
still
his-
removing hair from places that he didn't think hair could be.
My purity, my innocence.
What purity?
You're a genocidal maniac with a gun.
Hey,
No,
I can
not-
only
no,
shoot one person at a time with
no,
this
no,
gun.
not
What?
not genocidal, omnicidal.
Omnicidal, there we go.
Omnisire?
He
Kill
doesn't
everything and
discriminate.
everyone.
The rest of the world made me sad, and I'm gonna make it their problem.
Uh-huh.
That does sound like a very
Fair.
Mallory thing.
So yes, you guys make your entrance. Do you do the whole production you did the first time you went to the gambling house, where you rent out a carriage and you make an entrance, red carpet style, or are you gonna do things a little more surreptitiously this time?
I think we just walk there.
What's the point? We are in a trio. We don't have to actually try and protect ourselves.
You can walk there like peasants.
I hate you.
But yes, no, you absolutely may just walk there, like people with legs, without an escort or what do you call it, the whole production to try and make yourself look like a high class noble that you were before. Instead, you were all dressed quite nicely. So one of you is trying to fit in with the fashion. The other is meeting the fashion halfway. One of you is just doing their own thing. Now, between the three of you,
Oh, yeah.
you paint quite a striking picture as you make your way into the gambling house.
Yes.
One's too hot, the other's too cold, and the other one's just right.
Mallory is Goldilocks.
No, I'm the middle bear. I mean the baby bear.
Baby bear?
I can see that.
So, like before, you immediately spot out there's a crowd in here. It's gotten towards, I'm gonna say it. I mean, it's already perpetually night in Mordan. However, here, it's the windows in particular are blacked out, while mage lights and ever-burning torches line the walls here within the gambling house. Brass and gold and crystal reflect the lights off of going into various angles. Chandeliers high above, crystal glasses, well-polished brass tables, brass and hardwood tables paint the image of a ritzy, dignified gambling hall. To the side, you see both a bar and a cash-out counter. And out in front of you, you see games of various choices. You see cards, you see roulette, you see dice, you see scrimmage, you see. Honestly, think of a card, dice, or chance game you can gamble on. They've probably got something for it here. If they don't, they can set something up on request. And much like you, there's a varied crowd gathered in here. Some might come across as being a little more on the grubbier side of things, comparatively. Though usually that's as a result of looking very disheveled, probably not doing great in terms of their winnings of the night. Others are the picture of composed. You see fanged teeth flashing here and there. You see noble men and women, and all in between, shifting between tables and sat. A few swirl tall fluted glasses filled with translucent, bubbling fluid, and others still swirl large wine glasses filling from decanters up to the brim, filled with thick crimson fluid. There's
Is it
varied
blood?
mix. Very likely. That or it's a Bloody Mary.
No, it's just grenadine. It's just a fucking bottle of grenadine.
I say it's a Bloody Mary. That's just because Mary's who it was tapped from.
I just imagine they have a spigot in someone's like heart. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. Damn.
I mean, you say that.
Do they actually?
No, not quite like that, because the heart is actually not a great container for blood.
The neck.
Yeah,
pumps it
I
out.
should say.
No,
Just got it
well,
hooked up to one of their arteries.
yeah. Here's the thing: wooden casks are not great for storing blood, because that shit soaks in, and actually you lose a bunch of blood in the process. Unless you line the inside of the cask with metal, in which case you don't get then kind of half defeats the purpose for a wooden cask. Besides maybe appearances, because then you don't get the woody flavors imparted into the drink. No, instead, what you typically get is you either get bottles filled with fine vintages, or, as in some cases, you have some dining tables around the place, usually near the bar, where you straight up just have a person lying on the table.
Oh,
Like, just being completely drained.
Yeah, every now and again, a vampire will go up and just plant their fangs in them.
Ew.
Does it at least
Hey,
pay well?
it's like a drinking fountain.
Does it
Can I-
pay well?
Mosquitoes probably eat that shit up.
Does it pay well? You could always ask the person involved.
Well, shame I'm not there.
I'm gonna go up to the person involved.
Oh,
oh no.
oh, okay.
As Flick is looking on,
No, to
concerned, but not saying anything
Is
really.
one of Siren's first things about getting in here is going to go up to the person lying prostrate on the table and ask them, "Hey, how's it going?"
Hey,
Well, because we're taking all this in, and mind you, she's trying to fit in. So while she's wearing this outfit, she's like taking on a more like gothly, demure, melancholic behavior.
Okay.
So she's gonna go up to the
That's indeed.
person.
Well,
And
just
she's
for the
going
sake of
to-
it, could you roll me a bluff
Yep.
check?
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
you-
she's not lying. She's just trying.
Well, no,
to...
you're putting on an act.
Okay. Give me a second.
I would like to help with that in any way I can.
Sure.
I think it's an important thing to note that you look like you're from here, and you're asking to help if they're paid well.
I mean, she looks naive. That's just how the Siren visions.
Can I guidance myself?
Sure.
Okay, so this is with guidance.
Lady of Light being like, what the fuck?
Trying to fit in. Ah, yes. What a good night. All this gambling is making me so thirsty.
All right,
Okay.
I help.
So, Siren, for a 20, and then assistance from Mallory, bringing that up to a 22. You, out of curiosity, approach one of these dining tables where you see a great many vampiric individuals, as well as their thralls and some of their ghouls, sat and in conversation over drinks and for the non-vampiric individuals, food. And the unlimited bar, as it was, laid across the tabletop. Having some understandable curiosity in this particular, some curiosity in what is going on here. You move to inquire with the help. Mallory, you've been to this gambling house before. You've seen this previously, and Mallory, Siren gets about halfway through getting opening her mouth and going to inquire with the help. And actually, Siren, would you reach out and maybe jostle them, or would you just kind of bend over the table and speak to them?
She would go right next to their head, and she would solemnly lean in to their face and go, "Hello. Are you awake?"
One of the patrons sat directly next to where you're standing as you go to address the drink. Goes, "Oh dear, there's no need to antagonize them."
I want to know if this one is awake.
With that, Mallory, your assistance in this comes in the form of not pulling but guiding Siren back a little bit. You know often people who end up in this position are people who are so far beyond, so far down in their debts, they have no hope of paying it back. And
That's
so-
actually what Siren was going to inquire, is if this person was a slave, a prisoner, maybe someone who did something bad, or if they came here willingly to do this.
Mallory could tell you this, but he would have to do so. He would have to do so discreetly, because otherwise, even if you whisper here, there you have patrons right next to you who may directly hear you. So he's not going to be able to impart this to you directly just yet. But the what do you call it? More than likely, whoever is on this table, and all the people on the tables, are people who are either prisoners on death row within the city, people who have who are in debt so far that they have put their lives up as collateral,
Jesus.
or they are people who willingly submit themselves in order to be remunerated for it. So it can actually pay quite well, with the understanding that a portion of what you would be paid will be taken out of it in order to bring you back, so that you may then live to or unlive to see the profits that you make. This person may be any one of the three, but one thing that happens universally to everybody that is subjected to this is that they are put under a paralysis spell, so that they cannot thrash around, cause a disturbance, speak, ruin the dining atmosphere, and also they are put under a further spell to help limit the pain.
Oh.
The vampire patron, who in this case was waving you off, was like, you know they can't speak when they're in that state.
I know, I'm just joking. You know, bit of fun humor.
They rock back in their chair a little bit, giving a little titter of their own. Their too wide smile flashing their fangs out as they what do you call it? They narrow their eyes in what you think may be an attempt at smiling with their eyes, but like their teeth, but like their actual smile, it's a little too narrow, a little too put on. It comes across as eerie and unnerving, like somebody who has never actually had a natural impulse to smile for several centuries.
Oh, weird. She
Oh.
thinks in her head as she goes. Well, anyways, the night is young, and she scurries off to flickin' Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that went well.
Yeah,
Am I
Mallory in
doing
this
the
case has been 2
vampire?
steps behind you this point.
What do you think? Am I convincing vampire? Am I ooky spooky?
Okay, so they can tell that you're not a vampire, but you look like a vampire.
Oh, all right. So what's the deal? And I guess now would be where.
That's where you'd get your fill-in on exactly what the fate of those people
So-
on the table is.
So
Yeah.
what's the deal with bloodsuckers?
What's the deal with gambling food?
So
Goddamn
these people here
mosquitoes.
are losers at the bottom of the barrel of the legal world.
But just suck.
Wow.
These fucking ticks.
Oh, okay.
They're leeches to
Mosquitoes,
society who
ticks,
have to pay
leeches.
back with their own blood.
Bats.
I mean,
Alright, guys.
like taxonomically, vampires are parasites.
Yeah.
We're just coming up with slurs for.
We're just slurring them out. Yeah, I
Stop.
like that you guys are actually doing this outright, like these slugs.
In the middle of the
Saying
in the
it.
middle of the gambling hall, just like, man, what are the worst
These-
things we can call
the-
these people?
Goddamn
No,
mosquitoes.
I'm calling the
these-
people on the tables.
The music just stops, like comes to a complete halt, and everyone just looks over to you. A skeleton looks over to you, just like
These
jaw.
Congratulations, we're now playing Vampire the Masquerade, and you're huge.
These
You need
non
to leave.
these non-coagulative fucks.
Ugh.
But yes,
These suckers.
So now you know.
Hetero.
Now you know what exactly the state of the vampiric refreshments is. Those who prefer
was-
obligated anthrophages.
I was gonna
Would you
call
call
them hemophiles, but then I said heteros.
Truly, to be heterophilic is the greatest.
Heterophile. Ugh.
How dare you be straight? Thank you, Mallory. Very cool.
Thank you,
Vive la
Mallory. Very
France.
cool.
Yeah, the French would be heterophobic.
Yeah, that's true. Also, let's be real. Mallory is still not sure about their gender identity right now. They like to be a woman for a while there.
Hey, I'm a man.
Sure,
Is
Mallory.
this true?
Anyways,
I'm
here's
a
your rest.
Mallory Charmaine is gay.
Does
Also, I
does
found
Mal-
these really cute boots that match Mallory's normal boots.
does Mallory is gay?
So random.
Yes.
Look at them; they are the exact same.
That's true, actually.
Mallory, listen, Mallory is.
Mallory.
Therefore,
Mallory's
Mallory thinks, therefore he
Mallory's-
is.
Mallory is hate sexual, and
I mean, Mallory is an
Mal-
inquisitor.
exactly.
Mallory,
Their pronouns are
Mallory is-
Angie.
Mallory is, yes.
Nice. Anyway, so we were gambling, or we were going to. So, you guys get back after that little diversion. Siren and Flick are now privy on how exactly a lot of the refreshments are organized for the vampires here at these establishments. The exact nature of the person on the table is not 100% certain. Whatever the case, though, they are paralyzed on the table there and free for any of the vampires to avail themselves, which is horrendous.
It's par for the
It
course.
is.
Thank you for. Oh wow, man-made
Memory word
Yeah.
on my comprehension.
expansion. Yeah.
Actually, no, this is pretty comprehensible. That's the worst
Yeah,
part
it's
about
pretty
it.
easy to comprehend. No, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, don't insult me. You're.
Mm.
Joke.
Sarah's gonna lean into Flick and Mallory and go, I'm actually not really used to this. I don't know if you can tell. So, Flick, you're leading the whole gambling aspect, and Mallory is gonna lead the whole social aspect. You two can be the leaders. I'll just go along for the ride. You need my assistance.
Aaron's just
You
here
know
as
I
a-
gambled professionally for the past decade, right?
What? Why?
You have?
Wait, what?
Is that
Wait,
how
what?
you made your money?
I just realized this is the most awkward group to actually go gambling and partying with each other.
The picture that I drew, party.
Wait, wasn't it the same three the last time we went
Who
bar
went
hopping?
drink?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The
always
pirate-
the three.
Yeah, you guys are the party hardy trio.
popper, and the dickhead
Yeah.
all go out to.
The pirate, the popper, and the
It's
princess.
awkward for these three until they get some alcohol.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yes. So,
Well, actually, Mallory, it seems you and I got something in common, at least in the gambling side of things. At least a little
speaking
bit.
of gambling, there are all kinds of games of chance open to avail yourselves of. What would you like to do?
Do we go for a classic, or are we feeling particularly audacious today? Tonight.
I don't know. Maybe
That's a
start
good
with some.
point.
We can always work our way up.
It's part of me is thinking, we start with one, decide on one, make our way around, and see what we can accrue. Probably depends on probably depending on the table, how much they're putting out, in terms of a payout.
We'll also have to pick something that is less easy to influence in the house of sight.
We're also gonna have to be very careful, sleight of hand and all that if we're deciding we want to be a little bit cheeky with the odds.
It is also at this point that you recognize that up on a balcony, there's a catwalk that goes up. A balcony leading into a set of double doors, above which, written in necro over the doors, is the words "High Rollers."
Oh boy, we gotta make our way into that room. I mean, come on.
Well,
we
what does
we
that
we,
say?
we schmooze our way to the High Rollers Club.
It says 4 high rollers, Siren.
High rollers.
High
What are they
rollers,
rolling?
As
we are-
as one of Flick's ears twitches.
In essence, if you win enough times in the games here, you will be invited to a special room where all the winners are.
Oh. I hope we get in there.
Our optional objective: make our way to the High Rollers Club.
So, there's dice, there's cards, there's all kinds of other stuff.
Let's play Gonzo's Quest.
Those quests.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of like very high-end games to play, and then in the corner is just an arcade game.
Oh, Gonzo's Quest is a 2011 browser-based casino.
Yeah, it's
game.
Oh.
yeah, it's a what do you call it? It's a flash. What do you call it? Roulette. What's the one-arm band? Whatever they're called. Slot machine. Yeah, it's a flash slot machine game. But yeah, unfortunately, they don't have slot machines here. Anything that would be like modern convenience that is automated, not so, like they had one-arm bandits going back a long time in our time, but that requires still a decent amount of sophisticated machinery to get good. They do not have it.
Haven't invented it yet.
For perspective, pocket watches are currently some of the most fine craftsmanship out there.
And guns.
And guns,
But
though usually said guns are made by watchsmiths,
pocket. Yeah.
locksmiths.
Okay, so how about this? We start off with roulette to kind of ease Siren into this, and then after we go from the old randomness, we go to more skill-based activities like craps, poker, and actually blackjack might be a good starter too.
Blackjack and hookers.
Some of them.
Honestly, I like the way you're working there, Mallory.
Of course, if we're a team, then we have to at least keep ourselves on our toes. And if we have a newbie, then we'll have to ease her into it.
Yeah, like I said, deft hands only.
Yeah, to start, I can do this, and under her veil, she kind of rubs her eyes like she's trying to get some gunk out of it, but in reality, she is trying to discreetly cast See Beyond.
What?
Just, for the extra perception. It lasts for 24 hours, which is nice.
Okay. Then we might as well start with poker. Let me give you the rundown of the rules.
Okay. Yeah. So, who's taking the lead on this? Is it going to be Mallory?
I believe so.
Yeah. Mallory with Flick right behind.
Okay. So, Mallory is taking the lead. Flick is assisting. And Siren is watching.
Yeah.
So,
watch and learn.
Let's see. Mallory, what's your skill for gambling?
Profession gambling.
Okay. You may roll me that. Flick, you may do the same. Siren, may roll me a perception check.
Okay.
So you guys get the night going. You introduce yourselves at the table. You get seated. Siren, since she is not directly playing, Siren and
Stays behind
Flick,
her
in this
watches.
case, will have to hang behind Mallory. But you will be able to get chairs of your own, just not be able to sit at the table itself. You're going to be staring over her shoulder for the most part. The dealer for the poker table, or was it poker or was it roulette? You were going to
We're gonna go with poker since it's more skill-based.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you go with poker first. The dealer cuts the cards, explains a short rundown of the rules. It's fresh faces at the table. Deals the cards out, and gets the first table cards laid down.
Okay, another one. Ooh.
Spend
Okay, another one.
What?
Holy shit!
That's a total of a plus 15 on top of that 14.
Whoa!
So that is a
29.
29 on your gambling check because of 2 explosions, thanks to your stacked deck grit feature.
I love gambling. I love you guys.
So, Siren, Flick, you may also roll me your gambling check. Siren,
Gambling's Garrett.
Siren, you keep
Let's go
you-
gambling. Oh,
Sarah-
dang it.
What would you say that would be for me?
Let's see. What skills do you have that
Sleight
might be relevant? The most obvious one would be sleight of hand. Assuming you don't have something like Mallory does, where he has profession gambling.
I do not. No, I have profession mercenary, but that's different.
Wouldn't apply as much.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure Flick has the Gambler's Garrett, right?
Hang on, let me check. Because that sounds familiar. Gambler's Garrett. Yep.
Right. What does that do?
You can let's first off have
Manipulate
disguise
any
on
die
you.
roll up to 3 times a day. Can only change it by 1 up or down. Any enchantment compulsion gets a +1 to a DC.
Would that mean that if I ever roll a 5, you can turn that to a 6?
Yes.
Oh, like you lucky
Also-
cat.
Any.
Also, don't you have the Ring of Fortune?
I do. +2 to reflex saving throws, adds in your favor for flipping coins. No need to wear ring.
Okay. There's my chip in for the day.
Yeah. It's more for coin flips rather than you know. But still, Gambler's Garrett will help.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, and I have and I have burglar's bracers, but no, those are different.
What you stealing, Flick?
The idea with the Gambler's Garrett in this case is that it doesn't
Yes.
allow you to manipulate dice rolled above the table. It allows you to roll manipulate dice rolled in world.
Oh. So no 5s to 6s.
No helping you explode on those. However, what it does mean is if you're playing games of chance with dice, you're able to manipulate those.
We should have gone to the craps thing.
That's okay. We can save these for. We can save those for that.
Okay.
You little gremlin.
So, I would say sleight of hand.
Okay. Light of hand. You. 13.
Okay. So, Flick, that is a 10, so that it is able to add a +2 to it. So that's a total.
Oh.
Mallory, from 14 all the way to the lofty heights of the 30 pluses, thanks to that bit of grit there. As Mallory, at first the hand you get is absolute shit. You get like 3 of hearts, a 7 of spades, and what do you call it? 3 of hearts, a 7 of spades, and just a bunch of garbage. None of it lines up. None of it's doing anything. Then comes the flop. Then comes the river. And you spot an opportunity. However, it's going to take. You spot an opportunity. However, you're gonna need an opportunity to switch out the cards in your hands, because as it stands, nobody's buying your bluff at the moment, and you're pretty sure from what you can see how other people at the table have got significantly better hands than you do. So no matter how you play this, people are there. You see people stacking high bets into the pot, and you're gonna have to either have to fold, you're gonna have to meet, you're gonna have to wiggle, you're gonna have to check. So you have the idea to do one better. With Flick's assistance and with Siren on lookout, Flick from his sleeve, coming up to your right hand, hanging down by your side, flips you several aces. Actually, no, not aces. He slips you several face cards. Best as you can tell, none of the ones that have managed to show up on the table just yet. You're gonna have to be quick about these afterwards to make sure that these get them swapped out again at some point during the game, so nobody realizes there's duplicates in the deck.
Oh.
So you go about counting the cards, you get your hand lined up, and start bluffing people into putting higher and higher antes onto the table. So eventually, everybody's so far up that when you go all in on your chips, either half the table folds. Half the table holds. One is a high enough roller at the moment that they manage to meet you without completely bankrupting themselves. The person to your left just goes all in with what he's got left because he's so confident in his hand. Then you lay him out, and you beat the rest of the people with a full house. Take the pot. You're now up several thousand tokens. Several thousand chips. Oh, yeah. You're up several thousand chips. A nebulous amount for the time being. But you managed to push one person off the table and severely dent the pots, dent the earnings of everyone else at the table who was in on the bet.
The guy that gets pushed off the table just immediately gets slammed onto another table. It's okay. And yep, you can't pay back your debts. You're getting turned into a blood ball.
Yeah. At the moment, he's just zero. It's if he starts taking loans to get more chips that he'll have an issue. At the moment, as for the time being, he's bankrupt. Up at the table, you have immediately made yourself known as a threat. You came in, and after one hand, immediately asserted yourself as a force to be reckoned with. So all eyes are now on you at the table. Any further attempts to cheat are going to be more difficult.
Stay hungry. There's more where that came from.
Mind you, those extra cards you swapped out, they are in the deck at the moment. So anybody who might be counting cards, unlucky, might be able to suss out what exactly just happened. Take a bit of luck. You're going to escape notice. You're going to continue. Get back out now. But if you do, if you find the duplicates in the deck and you are one of the last people to play in the game, you will be suspect.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take the cards out. Let's try to play straight for a bit and then take out the cards when we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Are the other people at the table that aren't Mallory and Flick all vampires?
Not all of them. The majority of the clientele here is vampiric or vampire thralls, vampire spawn. But there are some here and there. You see living flesh and blood folk here, varying character and appearance. One you see is in fact a one that you see is in fact a lizard folk.
A lizard folk.
You see a lizard folk of a sort. Over a couple tables over next to him, he's got what looks to be a slim, scale-covered humanoid woman with these patches of azure scales all across her body. who seems to be looking over his shoulder and consulting him on what moves to make.
Oh shit, she's the professional.
But
Can
you've got others who are similar. Even on one far table, you look to have what was a slim, pale elven lady in a sleek black dress and a opalescent veil over her face. The last one to stand out to you looks to be a younger-looking man with reddish hair in a well-fitted black suit, shoulder cloak, accompanied by two other older-looking gentlemen who are over on the craps table.
These unique individuals are at different tables, not
Yes.
at the poker table at the moment? Okay. At the poker table,
Could be said
Are
that you
there-
guys are the unique individuals at the poker table.
yeah, currently. But, like, at the poker table, are there any vampires?
Yeah, there's a few.
Can Siren position herself to stand a ways away, like giving plenty of room, like to fit, like, 3 or 4 or 5 people in between her and the people sitting at the table, but position herself behind the vampires and try and, with the veil covering her face, try and look as if she's spectating the spectacle of the the poker game without trying to make it seem like she's cheating too much, but she's trying to look at their cards.
Okay. I'm going to say that's a bluff.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay.
You're trying to effect
No.
an act of being a spectator while actually surreptitiously looking at their cards from a distance. That will require a certain amount of closeness, or you're going to have to get like a side angle. Because otherwise, you're going to have to find a way of looking over their shoulders.
Yeah, I could do a side angle.
You stand far off to the side and maybe try and see it out the corner of your eye. Sure. A bluff and then a perception.
Could I help with the bluff? Like Flick strikes us some idle chatter on the table
Form a
as a
distraction.
distraction.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Kari, what do you think your friends are doing right now?
Oh, good.
We're now you see me 4.
Yeah. How's
Okay.
everyone at the table doing today?
You all hear a voice in the back of your head. Please don't do something stupid.
Let me think.
And because of See Beyond, all perception is +5, or in the cases of looking at, what is it? Invisible things?
Where
would
did
be
you
+10?
Invisible and
I don't-
hidden things. Use +10.
Yeah. But
Wouldn't
normally
you-
just +5.
I was asking when you cast See Beyond, because I think it has like an hour casting time, doesn't it?
Yeah, she casted before we sat on the table.
Oh, I didn't know she did. I didn't hear her see that. Okay. You're good.
Mhm.
Because I thought
Previously,
Oh,
she,
it does have an hour casting
Yeah, it does have an hour.
time.
You would have had to do that. On
So
the
she
way
would have
there.
had an hour. She would have been rubbing her eyes for an hour.
I would say if you had intended to cast that, you would have done that on the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we
Because
did.
otherwise-
I didn't notice that it was an hour. I thought it was
Yeah,
a
that's,
minute.
that's part of what balances out having a 24-hour duration.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a ritual cast.
it is a good spell, though.
Let's see. I'm gonna say if you're looking to stage a distraction, that'll likewise be a bluff check.
Flick stages a distraction and goes meow, 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 meow.
Yeah.
He then puts on a black mask.
That's only
And
flick
out
if he
of
takes a
my
level.
con-
That's only a flick if he takes a level in vigilante.
That being said, I do still have that one mask.
True.
That one leather
Oh my
mask.
god, the skin mask.
Yeah, the skin mask.
Technically, we've reflavored it so it's not made out of the skin of thieves.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
just
yeah.
made of the
funny.
skin of the innocent.
It's very nice tanned leather.
Mm,
Sure.
as opposed to being made of people.
Sure.
I think it's a long take, anyways.
I
Mm,
think it's
again,
people,
what are
but
your
it's like animal people, so we don't recognize it as human.
sure.
Wow.
Like, how do you feel about that?
He's not
Yes.
people, he's a cat. He's not human.
It's like it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the cow person's back or something.
Not the
So-
cow.
Not the cow person.
Let's impose this a simple path and say flick.
Smoking.
It's funny because I think before when we were like talking about like the AU for that I think we decided that Flick was actually more of like a jock or something rather than a stoner.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
I thought we said a stoner.
I think
I
it's
thought-
I think it's
no,
the
no.
hood that makes gives that
No,
impression.
I
Karia
thought-
was the jock.
Yeah, I thought Kari was the jock.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think- I think,
yeah.
um,
Oh wait. Oh no.
like-
Flick was like the greaser.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Ka-
yeah, yeah,
Kari
yeah,
He's
yeah.
the
is
stoner.
Karia is the varsity jock. Flick is like the looks like the track and field kid.
Yeah.
Who
To my memory, Flick was the stoner. He was just
Yeah, 'cause
the,
he
the
got high
chill,
on cat
the
grass
chill
one
stuff.
time.
He got high on cat grass. Mallory was the preppy kid, and
Siren is the
you know,
cheerleader.
Siren is the cheerleader. Yeah.
And like the student body president and the perfect person.
Hollow was president of the book club with Vark and Vair, but it never got anywhere, and he moved to another
No,
school.
Vair is like the talking dog, like Scooby Doo, but he's like a
Yeah,
black
he's
lab or something.
just the talking dog. That's
So
He was
who owns the
typecast
He's
by
music?
Raggy.
he's Karia's what do you call it?
Shadow.
Like his Great Dane,
yeah, he's
Yeah.
my Great Dane.
the Blackbird Great Dane. Anyway, his family somehow got their hands on a fucking puma. Giant
That being
kid.
said, I do still like the idea of Flick being the greaser.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would fit him well given his background.
What is it, Greaser? I mean,
Greaser is a type of,
I don't
like-
need to explain.
It's like an 80s gang stereotype.
Yeah, like Yakuza, but American Yakuza.
Imagine,
snakes
imagine,
rule.
Thank you.
leather jackets, switchblade knives, finely greased hair like that's twirled into a point at the front.
Yeah, jeans,
Pompadours are
black
also
boots.
fairly common. Ripped jeans, sneakers, and if you believe West Side Story, a lot of finger snapping.
Ah,
Yeah, like that.
in-
Like,
Tunnel snakes rule.
yeah. In this
Oh,
That
case,
does remind me that when we first got here, there was a group
Yeah.
of gnomes.
well, it's
and
funny
we
you should mention that.
were,
Oh,
God, we're
no.
sitting across no man.
Because another group that you guys notice inside the gambling hall is on one table, funnily enough, of high low, sat on opposite sides of one another, are two groups of four. One group of 4 halflings, one group of 4 goblins, all in leather jackets, glaring at each other.
Hey, you should grab one of those jackets.
Gang wars.
I had
They're halflings. What is it? Halflings and goblins?
Halflings and goblins.
Yeah, we're gonna grab one of those jackets, and it's not gonna fit us.
It's just a crop top.
Hey, don't worry, don't worry about it.
I had a nefarious idea.
Yes. The halflings and gnomes and goblins here, to when they pose at one another, to make up for the fact that they cannot loom over anybody else, make up for it with imposing body language, snapping at each other. But yes,
Oh my god.
so
What was Mallory's nefarious idea?
what is Malcolm's
What if
theories?
we find somebody, like we look for somebody who is also attempting to cheat or seems like a crook already,
Right.
provoke them to join the table, have them talk big, and then let them win, and then we just leave the cards behind.
That'd be one way of doing things. Is that how you want to play it?
That's up to you guys. That was just the idea I put out to make it easier.
That'd be one way of playing this.
Yeah.
So, Siren, you're able enough to put on an act as if you were just kind of hanging off to the sides. To anybody who was paying half attention, most folks here have realized or know that you are connected to this little group of the three of you are very recognizable. Mallory is platinum blonde with a unicorn horn. Flick is a catman, and
Tricorn.
with a tricorn hat. And while you yourself do the best at blending in with everybody, the company you came here with is what makes you recognizable. So the possibility that you might be able to try and convince people that you're not spying on these two's behalf would be put into immediate suspicion. However, you are able to just kind of, given how you sort of thrown yourself off as being a bit of an airhead previously, continue the act by drifting back, kind of walking along the empty sort of in-between space between the tables, sort of wandering back and forth, oohing and eyeing at the large crystal chandeliers and the paintings along the walls, the fine artwork, the various outfits all throughout the hall. Is something you will notice is that despite how homogeneous the fashion may seem at first glance here within Mordan, you start to notice the various ways that they set themselves apart. Differences in masks, handbags, hell, even in nail art, all set them apart in various different ways. Each one unique and definitely pricey. Where they are otherwise very covered up, the bits of them that would be exposed are extra ornamented. You see vampires with long claw nails, finely done, set with jewels or painted and brushed with precious metals. You see masks that are finely shaped, again bejeweled or made of Aryan ceramic. And yet further, you see embroidery on robes and finely tailored dresses that all hop in their own way out of the crowd. But in between admiring the fashion, you also make time to try and spy at the cards that you can see, in particular, ones at your table. That said, given the crowd, the angle, and just in general, it's still not easy, especially considering how well most of the people here in the house protect and hear their cards. You are able to get a glance here and there and help fill in Flick and Mallory when you return to the table what might be in some of the hands, which helps when over the course of the next few hands, Mallory and Flick work together to try and set things up for the coming board. You win a little bit, you lose a little bit. Eventually, Flick manages to smack talk one particularly ballsy-looking punter to come up to the table and have a go at it. You guys immediately set him up to win through dirty tactics. Put a very small stake on it, lose a minimal amount, and then leave him holding the bag. Excuse yourselves from the poker table. All in all, you come out of it with about 530 gold worth of winnings. So,
let's go gambling. We did it.
Those are your first winnings. Would you like to continue, or would you like to call it quits?
No, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Now, how would you like to fuck it up?
Up to you guys.
That's it. There are some interesting individuals here.
Yeah.
Assuming you want to rub shoulders with them, or if you just want to keep trying to win your fortune.
I mean, my
what
choice.
do you... Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I already made my choice with the poker tables. Up to you guys, dude.
You said that the individuals, it was the lizard man and the lizard lady.
They're at the blackjack table.
They're at the blackjack. There's the man in the black tux with the two older gentlemen.
He's at the crafts table.
He's at the crafts, and what was the middle one?
It's a elf in a sleek black dress. She is at what you think is the Yahtzee table.
Does she look Mordani?
She looks pale, so maybe you have to get a look at her teeth. And then again,
Damn,
like,
she white as fuck.
Like, I mean, as I've had myself described on a previous point on a particularly uncharitable winter afternoon, her skin could be used as a flashlight.
God damn.
Oh
She's,
no.
like, she is ceramic pale. Her skin is like porcelain.
Damn.
You could, by all accounts, it looks like that's very much on purpose. It's meant to be a part of her appeal and of her aesthetic. Her skin is so pale it seems to glow in the dim light inside the gambling hall. Her lips are slim and crimson and full, such that it contrasts against her skin like red on paper. And her eyes are narrow and decorated with a smoky eyelid.
Damn, girl, you alright? Cause you look fresh out the morgue.
By all rights, she looks like she might be right out of right off an autopsy table.
Yeah, she may be Mordani, or maybe she's just playing it up and she's actually completely not from here. What is Yahtzee? Does it involve dice?
Yes.
Yes, it involves a lot of that.
We could do that. Maybe Flick would have an opportunity to
Yahtzee?
use.
I'm sorry, Winter. Y'all actually, I just thought about that. Y'all are actually playing Yahtzee.
I don't know what that is.
a dice
I don't know.
It's an American board game. It's
Oh.
one of the oldest white people games known to man, and it's so funny because it comes with like a plastic cup, like so you can roll the dice. I love Yahtzee. It's such a cluster. I'm sorry. I just think it's so funny. Go on.
What do you guys think about Yahtzee?
We could,
Mhm.
if Mallory's cool.
The
with
game
it.
itself is about collecting specific sets of dice rolls.
Hmm.
It's one of the more protracted ones, however, it has the potential of having much higher win. The woman herself doesn't seem to be actively participating, she seems to be spectating.
Well, she's just spectating.
Hanging back, sort of one slender finger underneath her chin, as she seems to be watching and praising the game medium.
Never played Yahtzee before, but I think like what 5, 6 is Yahtzee.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I want to go talk to some interesting people in between games, but you guys can go to whatever games you'd like. I thought she was playing, that's why I suggested Yahtzee, but if she's not playing, it doesn't matter then.
It's not it's perfectly doable that the two gamblers can go off and continue earning while you go and carouse.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, sounds like Seren's gonna go socialize.
Serin?
Seren.
Serin?
Syringe.
Damn.
Saran.
Because she's
Damn, is her
injecting
name
some
Syringe?
much needed
'Cause you're getting
positivity
under
into this
my
party.
skin.
Damn, is your name
Suddenly-
Syringe?
sudden-
Because I'm
so-
actually-
suddenly,
damn,
I
girls, your
know
name's
exactly.
Syringe because damn, you scored.
Everyone in the gambling hall hears a shot go off.
Wow, is your name Syringe? Because you're filled with something that makes me feel good.
Hey,
I
Another
see.
shot goes off.
morphine. Yes. So, Bambi Girl, is your name Syringe because you deliver drugs? And that's not even a lie.
Is your name Syringe? Because you are heroin.
Okay, Syringe is gonna go and put her arms up like she's trying to act creepy, so she's doing like a little creepy gremlin walk over to the lady with the black dress.
Is it that typical like sort of like cartoon sneak walk where she brings her hands up in front of her chest?
Yes.
Good.
You can't see it, but I'm doing it.
Mm.
Could before that Syrian walks over with her spooky stance, could Mallory like with his cane lightly adjust her elbows?
Just with the head of your cane, you just adjust her posture so she's properly in the creepy stance.
Yeah, and then he's like, go.
And she's like, oh, thanks.
You do
She
that and you give her a
goes.
little tap on her lower back. Now go.
Go, have fun.
Step, step, step,
Fun.
step, 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 step,
Da-da.
step, step.
Yeah, quite literally Pink Panther. Yeah, quite literally a Pink Panther moment.
Yeah.
Yes, you diverge off in search of socialization. Well, the other two, I'm gonna need more gambling rolls as you guys decide on your next game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Yahtzee is all dice, right?
Nazi is all
Like-
dice. It's a lot of dice, though. And given the fact that the gambler's garrote can only manipulate 3 dice per day, might not be the best choice. The better option, this off of your sense, your better option might be something like craps.
Yeah.
Wait, it's called craps? Like
Yes.
craps?
Yeah, craps.
C-R-A-P-S.
Like shit?
Yes.
What? I thought you said crafts, like arts and crafts. I was like, oh, they got arts. They got
Nope,
like,
there's a
macaroni
dice game called
necklaces here
craps.
or something.
Macaroni necklace.
That means we
Yes,
can-
one of the.
Yeah, you'll be
That is we-
Siren,
Yeah.
do me a favor.
Yes.
Look up the Google very quickly the word craps table. Tell me the first word you see.
Craps. Table. Craps. Come.
There you go.
Wrap on.
He is the funny
I knew that
joke.
would tickle you. So
Oh,
yes.
there's one with 2 comes.
Yes. Double the cum. Welcome to the cum zone.
Do not
Why
come.
does it look like that? It's so ugly.
It's supposed to fit on a felt table.
Welcome
Gross,
to the
it's
cum
ugly.
zone.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like the various fields are where you position your chips when you're making different bets.
Oh, I see.
With flexibility, we can guarantee 1 win.
You can guarantee
At
1 or
least.
influence potentially 3.
Yeah, influence potentially 3, but guarantee 1.
So I'm going to need some gambling rolls from the both of you. For when our beloved cleric is cringe. Yeah.
Oh no!
Okay, so
For
not a
Mallory?
hand.
Mallory,
For
I
me.
need a professional gambler, and from Flick, yes, I need a sleight of hand. And for both of you, work together to try and get yourselves a win.
Alright, and then D6.
13.
So that's still a successful help action. It is above a 10.
That's fair.
The 13.
Now, mind you, Mallory, whenever you do that, you are burning a point of grit.
I know, I'm keeping track.
Keep track of it.
I gotta kill something with my gun later.
Hit flames, elemental roulette wheels, thick of
Gotta find it.
Mallory, Mallory loses this gambling game and he starts shooting somebody.
Nice.
I walk
Takes
over
his
to the
anger
blood
out by
pile.
just shooting
Grim.
his gun into the air.
Grim, deck of many illusory things is just Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right, I wanted to make that funny thing at some point.
The foxes.
Yeah, I never will. I never probably will. But baby's first idea.
Imagine playing 52 pickup with that deck.
You gonna make a fox deck?
There was a plan for some foxes. Anyway, so that's a total of 32 on the gambling roll. As the two of you knock heads together, with Mallory taking the lead on the dice game. With Mallory able to pretty convincingly get the dice to roll in his favor, or distract when necessary to try to get the die to roll over one. With Flick ever ready to activate his garrote. Now, mind you, to remind just as a reminder, whenever you activate that, it begins to feel like it's tightening around your neck. Something
Indeed.
meant to resemble the feeling of your luck slowly running out. For the time being, though, you managed to roll well enough that you don't need to expend it just yet. You win handily on the first round of craps.
Excellent.
On the table next to you, you see that that suit-dressed man with his two older friends next to him. He's a younger-looking fellow with black swept-back hair. He's seems to be having a pretty chummy chat with his two friends, not paying too much attention to the game. He's not too bothered by how much he seems to win or lose on any given round. They seem to be chumming up all right. The young boy in question is the two older gentlemen next to him. There's one man with a pair of, who's dressed similarly but with a pair of tight-fitting leather gloves, and the other one next to him is dressed in a t-shirt, or I should say a tunic that seems to barely hold itself together around his muscles. A very large individual with tattoos and scars all over himself. The three of them seem to be having a pretty good time.
Note to self, keep an eye on them just in case.
And there'll be another round of gambling checks from the both of you as we'll go to Siren. You're making your way towards the Yahtzee table, right?
Yes.
The round of gambling checks.
Well, you creep your way over to the Yahtzee tables. Yourself catching a glimpse of the games in progress. You see people rolling these felt-lined wooden cups full of 5 or 6 dice, clattering them around and then tossing the dice down onto the table, and then trying to arrange them in sets or rows of numbers to try and fill out different orders on their sheets that they mark off. The tall, slim, elven woman seems to be not so much entranced as, at the very least, curious about how things are going in the table. Her overall expression seems to be, by default, settled on a sort of sharp curiosity. Her lips pursed in such a way to suggest something between what could be seen as either amusement, or if you looked at it in the wrong light, maybe a sneer. She kind of pivots her head back and forth, her chin clasped between a thumb and forefinger, trying and looking here and there and visually dissecting what's going on at the table. And occasionally her eyes lift up to do the same to the rest of the room.
Can I, like, as I'm approaching her, position myself so that I'm out of her view until I come to rest in like a reasonable place. I'm not like trying to like, you know, do anything with people who are playing, but rather just interact with her. And then like behind her, kind of trying to be mysterious myself, how she is apparently in the eyes of Siren, and go, hello. Like hoping that I caught her off guard, like she wasn't expecting to have someone.
I'm gonna say that's
there.
a stealth check.
Okay.
You were
Well,
trying
good
to
luck.
creep up on this woman.
I'm having so much fun.
I'm glad you are. Oh, hey, that's pretty good.
That's like, why do I get a good stealth check when it doesn't matter? Okay,
you're not in
thanks,
armor?
game.
Oh shit.
Oh, I'm not in armor. Yeah.
So, while Flick and Mallory are having a somewhat harder time over at the table now that they've got the attention freshly of their table, you guys are struggling a little bit more. You lose a couple rounds. You win a couple more. But you manage to break even for those sets of rounds. While Siren, you creep up on this moonlit woman, and then make yourself known. Which then you see, for a moment, her body goes stock still. She doesn't turn. She goes still as a statue. Her eyes still fixed on the table. And then her head, ever so slowly and fluidly, turns to regard you from her periphery. She says, "May I help you?"
I was just wondering. You seemed rather lonely over here, and I don't mean to intrude or bother you, but I just was wondering if I could start a conversation and get to know you. I like meeting people and making their acquaintance and making friends.
I have to admit, this is possibly the most unique proposition I've had this night. Probably the first woman I've had do so. I'll have you all know I have no interest in anything further than this simple conversation.
And neither do I. You needn't worry.
Good. And she turns to more fully face you, still keeping the table in her peripheral vision off to her right. But as she turns to face you a little bit more, you get a better look at her. Would you like to roll me a sense motive?
Yeah, sure. Doo-doo.
Sense motive. Ah,
Okay. Very little about her countenance betrays what she's thinking or how she's feeling. She's still as a statue, though she still has little expressions here and there. Her body is poised. If I had to put it into a single word, she is so composed it becomes difficult to even tell what is a legitimate micro expression and what is feigned on her part. But as she regards you up and down, she considers and says, "Very well then. If you'd like to converse for a bit, I have some time. It's been a bit since anybody's bothered me today. My name is Kanai. What is yours?"
Kanai. My name is Morticia.
Morticia.
Wow.
Why the 9?
My name is Morticia.
Morticia. It's a very Mordani name, though you don't strike me as such.
Well, I've had to flee to Mordan. I'm not from here, as my physique may.
And yet
May
you
tell.
have a Mordani name.
Well, Siren kind of leans in close, like she's about to spill some tea, some gossip, and she goes,
That's why I fled here. I changed my name so I could get away from my abusive husband. I
Roll me a
find
bluff.
this.
"Okay." Why can I never find the bluff on the sheet? I keep thinking it's at the bottom. It's at the top. It's P. Oh.
A
Going
single,
great.
a single perfectly manicured eyebrow, or sorry, a single perfectly trimmed eyebrow arches at that as she cocks a hip, settles
Oh, she's
back
getting
as
sassy.
she crosses her arms, and you see the ruby red lips curve up ever so slightly at the edges. She says, "Oh, is that the case?"
Yes, but I've come to find that Mordan is actually a very enjoyable place to be.
Oh yes,
The atmosphere, and the
I'm
people.
routinely made aware of how many people seek refuge here within the Mordani Confederacy. Such a hive of inclusivity and mortal rights, especially for one who is fully flesh and blood. Now, mind you, as she is speaking, you realize she doesn't have fangs, so she is alive.
My theory as a player is that she's a thrall, but I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't have confirmation. And Siren just goes,
But enough about me. You.
No,
I've
absolutely
said
not.
enough about me.
I
This
am
table seems to have so much of it.
enraptured by you. Let's talk more about you, Morticia, from out of country. You must truly have gone through so much to find yourself pushed all the way here in a place that so rarely offers asylum to people without the resources. Truly, you must have happened to quite a fortune because of your abusive husband if you could afford to find yourself moving here. Tell me more about it.
Well, who said anything about fortune or
Well,
asylum?
you must be quite
I've
wealthy if
had
you
to
found
make
yourself
my own
living
life.
here. Or perhaps, no, you're not. You've not been turned, so clearly you're not a thrall or a spawn of one of the lords here.
Are you?
No, I am not. I am here under my own sponsorship. So,
Oh.
between one self-made woman to another, Morticia, let's drop the act. You don't need to lie to me. If you're going to lie, perhaps a more convincing one. After all, you don't strike me as an erstwhile married woman with an abusive husband. You don't have the markers, you don't have the scars, you don't have the bruises. You don't have the cowed demeanor, you don't have the wild-eyed paranoia looking in every shadow for your abuser. You strike me as a woman here out of curiosity, looking for exotic thrills, for things that are different. You're in a wide world, unfamiliar to you, full of things you've never experienced, and you want to know it all. You are ravenously curious, and I have those curiosities. Why not?
Yes. Well, I just saw you enraptured in this table, but you're not playing yourself. I just wondered, what
What's
is
up?
this woman doing all by herself, just watching a table?
Well, I, like you, was curious. I had never seen this game before, and I was wondering what exactly it entailed. As it turns out, it's a long, protracted series of dice rolls trying to line up series of numbers. Personally, looks rather boring to me, but I suppose the big draw is the high payout. I can't blame people for that. Personally, I'd want something a bit more quick-paced.
Well,
since you seem. What is the term? It's not. It's intelligent, but it's like. Oh, wise. Since you seem like such a. Let me give you a bit more full story. And she, as Serum, make a connection, and this time speak not out loud but within her mind and say, is it more convincing if I tell you I'm a religious priestess traveling the world? And I'm just trying to not acquire the ire and attention of vampires who could possibly kill me.
The smirk reaches her eyes a little bit. I'd say that's a bit more convincing, yes. You wouldn't be the first clergywoman to find herself on a journey through the world. And clergy are not entirely unwelcome here within Mordan. In fact, you'll find many of the vampires who are very religious. They just don't worship all the same gods as, say, the papacy do. They share their religious views of the triumvirate, but they prefer the sleeper, for instance. They find his protection far more comforting than, say, the Lady of Light, who they find her patronage is a bit more harsh.
I have to agree with that, actually. I'm more of that side as well.
To each their own. I think you'll find yourself in better company here than you would in, say, Aerodine. Though I found, personally, through my travels of the world, that one's impression of a particular religious group can be a bit anodyne. One only views it through the lens of particular groups.
This is true.
What I would just say is that in particular when it comes to the body of worship that's related to the Lady of Light, the Aerodine people are a poor representative. Now then, what's your review? I gave you mine. It's only fair.
Can I insight check on her on when she says I gave you one,
Sure.
as it to inquire if that's actually her real name?
Absolutely. Roll sense motive.
Might as well, right? She has no reason to lie, but
To the best of your estimations, she's being straight with you.
Okay. So once again in her head, she hears Siren's voice say, "My name is Siren.
Well, it's lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you as well."
My name is Kanae. I hail from the Titan's Arm.
Titan's Arm. You know, I've never been there myself, but I've always wanted to go, and I do have a friend who's from there.
Well, if you do, you'll find yourself having a much easier time getting in if you were to visit. They can be a bit wary of outsiders sometimes, but they're still hardly seclusionary. Beautiful landscape, wonderful harmony, in harmony with the surroundings and the little spirits and the little gods that live in everything there. You'll find the faith there very different from your own. The culture varies greatly, in particular when you start making the transition from north to south, or vice versa. I myself used to hail from the southern arm, but over time I found myself adapting to other cultures. Other elves cling a little harder to traditions, but myself, I found myself drifting away from it. I was never quite a woman for tradition. So much like yourself, I am a woman of curiosity, and I find myself drifting from place to place, learning what I can.
Did Trico ever say what the name of her town or village was?
She said the region of the Titan's Arm she came from.
Yeah, she's mentioned at most Feetsmarn. That's it.
Oh yeah, Feetsmarn, which is north, south, east, or west in Titan's
North,
Arm.
of the Titans are. They're relatively, considering it's one long straight bit of land.
Right.
But if you look over here,
Hold on. I got a. My roll 20 always lags.
you might not have hardware acceleration enabled.
Oh yeah, I did disable that. Hold on. Stand by. Enable relaunch. It's a strip of land,
I mean,
like real world Japan.
I mean, if you look over to the Titans arm on the left,
Hold on, it's loading back up.
do.
Manamana.
No. Yes. If you were to look on the map and look over to the far west, is it loaded in?
Oh yes.
This
I see
whole
it.
stretch of land is the Titan's Arm. This bit, the northern half, is where you find a lot more humans and half-elves. And then the southern bit here, where you find a lot more of the full-blooded elves and a lot more of the old-fashioned culture. And overall, there's a pretty thorough blending between the two.
Yeah.
Chico comes from Featsburg, which is renowned for its craftsmen, specifically for its metalwork. It even has a crafting festival every year there.
So then, Siren would ask her, "Are you familiar with the region of Feedsmart?"
I'm familiar, yes, in so much as any of my countrymen would be. I passed through there a time ago. I believe I even got myself a tanto made there.
Oh, were you there? Some, I don't know if this, out of game. I don't know if this would be months or years ago, but I'm gonna go with years.
Years?
That's my intuition. Yeah. Siren would say, "Were you there some years ago when, during one of the crafting festivals, there was a tragedy that happened? Did you hear about that?"
I'd say I have. It's been a while since I've been home. It must be something like 3 decades at this point. I haven't returned in quite some time, but if what you say is true, then it's awful. That festival in particular, I remember being a source of joy for many in the village.
Yes.
I hate for it to be stained like that.
This is quite sad. But well,
And does this, by any chance, have anything to do with your friend from the Titans Arm?
well, I asked because she mentioned it, and I wanted to know if you knew about it. But
Unfortunately-
I'm not from there. It's been
Unfortunately, you're barking up the wrong tree when it comes to that. It's been quite some time since I've been back to my home country.
I understand.
Give her my condolences, though. As much or as little as that may mean.
I will. Thank you. And she turns to the table. I've never seen this game myself. What have you come to understand of it? Just now, it's trying like small talk.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, we'll just say that the small talk continues on like that a little bit as she goes on to explain the boring details of Yahtzee. It really is just like what do you call it? It's when you start off a game of Yahtzee, you've got 2 sets of dice rolls you're supposed to fill out. One is like you gotta get 4 sets of 1s, 4 sets of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, and then you gotta get strings, or you gotta get 2 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind, and if you can get the higher dice, it's worth more points, and so on and so forth. And she goes into the various details, and a lot of it amounts to her just kind of going, and all of this has mostly just convinced me to say that I'm probably never going to play this game in actuality.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I don't think I would either.
It's a bit too much when you're coming to a gambling house for the sake of thrill, but given that vampires themselves tend to be more slow and long-winded than even some of my elfkin can be. Yes, well, it gets egregious sometimes. Now, let's say, since we've struck ourselves up a nice little friendship here, we go get a drink. Is that what you
I'd love to. Although I don't And Siren turns to the person on the table.
Grizzly
I'm a
business.
bit vegetarian these days.
Myself as well. Not quite how much I used to be, but I understand. I don't partake of that of myself. I am not vampire-kin in any shape. I like a bit of wine myself.
As do I. Tea is my favorite, but wine is a close second.
I find a hot cup of tea does not quite stoke the thrill of a gambling house as much as a good glass of alcohol will do. Now then, she will start moving towards the bar, and we'll shift perspective back to our pair of gamblers. Can I get another set of gambling rolls from the both of you? Mallory and
We'll
Blake.
do. Yes, I was doing that just now. During our stint at the table, Flick is continuing to strike up small talk with the other patrons at our particular table.
Okay, so yeah, you're carousing while Mallory focuses on the actual gambling part of things. Mallory, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, make it another professional gambler for you.
Yeah.
As you go about manipulating the dice rolls. Oh dear.
And it's 2 more times.
Unfortunately, you end up losing that hand.
Ah. That's okay.
Give me another set as you continue to play the next set of dice.
Alright. Please something about 10. Oh, that says. Okay, the game is gave me exactly what I wanted.
Like, can you give me another sleight of hand?
Already. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought I already rolled it. Yeah, sure.
What comes out to a 25?
Very nice.
Comes out to a 25. And then, kind of out of nowhere, when the young man in the black tuxes roll comes to a conclusion, the big muscular man next to him brings his fist like a hammer down on the table with a quick curse in a language you don't understand. That ends up making your dice jump, and actually ends up resulting in your roll end up lower. As his fist hammers on the edge of the table, your dice momentarily jump as they're midway through the roll and come to a stop. Instead of on a 5, on a 2.
I'm gonna look that guy in the eye.
He's give me a sense motive.
This freaking dude is messing with us.
Could I assist with
I
that
would
sense motive or?
Dare someone else cheat. You may attempt to assist, especially since you've been carousing with these guys. So, Mallory,
Yeah, 17.
the big guy with the sleeves pulled tight around his biceps, his eyes are firmly on the dice on the table. His friend's dice. His young leader. The man with the leather gloves and a set of thin-rimmed glasses himself is simply looking up and down the table. He seems happy to just observe. But from his side of the table, as you glare at the big guy, the younger dude catches your eyes with his. You see a ghost of a smirk.
Oh, hell no.
It's a taunt. It's a silent. Yeah, I cheated. So did you. Prove it. It's a silent challenge.
Flick kind
One
of gives
cheater
Mallory
to
a side eye.
He spotted you cheating. Now you spotted his.
Okay, it's on.
You want to go head to head with this guy? If so, I'm gonna need another gambling roll.
Lady of Light, you exist. Please reign.
If you
fiery
exist,
If you,
justice.
if you exist,
I
says the
worship you,
Inquisitor.
but like I don't know.
If you exist, says the Divine Caster.
I know my god exists, but I don't know about you.
Well, she exists. I mean, look at that.
Well, so another
Well,
sleight of hand from me
golly.
as well.
Hmm?
Another sleight of hand from me as well, or
Absolutely, if you will.
28.
My.
Lady of Light, beautiful, beautiful. I know.
Lady of Light condones
Lady
gamblers,
Luck
apparently.
herself.
I guess
She knows justice.
gambling is an element of civilization. She is a goddess of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that we're gonna go to her church and pay our tithes. That guy isn't.
Lady of Light has a gambling addiction as well. That would be awful.
She's like,
Like,
"Ooh,
she has an
baby."
addictive
Lady of
personality.
Light.
That's why she's so stringent about these things. Well, something's watching over you right now. As specifically, what's watching over you is something helping you enabling with your manipulation of the table. Flick, if you wanna, what do you call it? If you wanna guarantee, what is it? That comes out to a, yeah, it's an 18. If you want to expend a use of your garrote, you can make your roll a nat 20. In effect, it's you're just a
Yes.
couple off.
Yes.
Hello, Cam. How you doing? Ash's woe button, but cannot overdraft. Grim was gonna woe you for that one.
Bruh.
The Mindcaster, if you exist. I have my fucking Inquisitor over here being an agnostic. So between the two of you, after being issued that silent challenge from the young man and his entourage, Flick, you perhaps on Mallory's indication, look over to the group. All is one. The three of you matched you both. All three of them catching your pair of eyes. There's this moment of deadlock. Dead silence at the table. And then the tension ratchets up as the next few rounds commence. They take some, you take more. Eventually, it comes down to one final roll of the dice. The pot has grown, fact, off of the other players. It's just your two groups at the table left. Everybody that had, the last two to not go bankrupt. You guys manipulate dice through magical and mundane means. The three on the other end, you're not sure all of their methods of doing so, but they have their own means of manipulating the dice. And some always seem to come up just right. Mid-roll, and you think it has something to do with the guy in the glasses. It's just minutely moving his fingers sometimes, where he's adjusting his glasses, or squinting his eyes, or readjusting his posture. you're never able to 100% draw the conclusion. I think he's doing something. The young man always seems to know just how to put the right spin on the dice. The big guy, usually at a silent tell from his boss, knows when to stomp his foot on the floorboard, on the floor, bump the table, or something like that. But never too often that it becomes irritating or obvious to the dealer. You go back and forth like that for a time. Two groups of doggedly tenacious and stubborn gambling cheaters collide with one another, and eventually you come out on top holding the pump.
Yeah.
As you guys, after a couple dozen rounds of this, come out holding 2,700 gold.
Woo!
At the end of it,
2,000.
the big guy stomps his foot, swings his fist around in a sort of "ah damn" kind of gesture. As he walks off a couple steps, hooks his thumbs into his belt as he goes to take a deep breath. The man with the glasses readjusts his where they're sitting on the bridge of his nose, and the young man just exhales a huff of well, then turns to you both on the other side of the table as he stands up from his seat and says, "That is a damn good match. You two were pretty good."
Appreciate it, mate.
Takes a step around the table, approaches you two, and he extends a hand.
Lick will rise from his seat and shake his hand.
Yeah, he gives your hand a solid shake, and then he extends the same hand to me.
And what do you say, Mallory? Good game?
Is exciting. More exciting than usual.
Sorry?
It's more exciting than usual.
You shake his hand.
Damn straight.
I think I will abstain from shaking his hand.
He gives you a interesting look. As you, he gives you an interesting look as you abstain from shaking his hand. Considers you for a moment, and then takes a step back, shrugs, and says, "Well, all the same, that was fun. I'm out a little bit from my funds, but I think that was worth it. Well, see you two around town." And then he goes back to his two friends. Oh, and then turns around. Goes, "My name's Nero." Then turns to walk and rejoins his friends.
Lick kind of leans over to Mallory and whispers, "That was a close shave there."
He kisses his queen.
He kisses what?
We were that close,
His
edge
cross.
of a knife kind of shit.
He kisses his holy symbol. That's like on.
In this case, that would be like a little emblem of a flaming sword for you. But yes, they rolled quite well themselves. On top of which they had their own methods of manipulating things. So yeah, you guys came out on top the winners. You now made a profit of 2,700 gold. You may enter that into the party loot if you wish.
Plus the
Cha-ching.
500 from poker.
No, that's cumulative.
Oh, that's commute. Okay.
Yeah.
We just take about 100 gold from it for our tithes. Or
That's a. Yeah, that I mean. That's a 5% tithe or less.
a bit less than 5%. 100
Less than
gold.
5%. Yeah, sure.
I think since Mallory and Flick were really doing the most of the work there, that they should take a majority percent of the total earnings, and then Sierra can just stay with a little bit of it, and whatever little bit Sierra is given, she'll just donate all of that to Moon next time she sees a church.
Of course.
How much are we deducting for the tithe?
I thought like 50-50 each. Like bullet points in.
We each take half, or
No, I meant like 50 gold for
Oh.
each time.
oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So, question becomes: do you continue? We're running hot.
I mean, do we want to push our luck? That's the question.
The entry amount for the high rollers is 10,000 gold.
10,000. I mean, we have our names on the record here. Like, we already like registered in place. We come back another time. Like
Good point.
making it to the high rollers and then within a day, and especially with how we won, might be a bit.
We're very quiet.
Oh. Making it to the high rollers table within a day, and considering how we won, might be a bit too,
Too quick.
Risky?
Calling too
too
much attention.
risky, too quick, collect attention, all of the above.
That's true.
Yeah.
Plus, we're probably gonna return to Mordan anyway at some point, or if we're staying longer, we can just come back another day.
I mean, we do
That's
have
true.
the bandit situation to sort out, so we will be back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like a fifth of the way there, so
So sounds to me like you guys are cutting your losses for that. Or not losses. Yeah, we go. You're quitting while you're ahead.
Yes.
Staren, you're currently over by the bar, which does smell strongly of coinage. There's a strong sort of coppery metal scent in the air. It kind of lingers around it. At the same time, there's also the strong smell of spirits that cuts through that. You and Kanai are currently both indulging in a bottle of wine. It's a
Very good.
strong red wine that Kanai seems to be quite enjoying. Through her pale complexion, she has a very vivid blush that is breaking through. She seems to be enjoying her spirits very much.
Yes. Siren is enjoying her glasses of wine as well.
If you partake. Is there any further topic or avenue of conversation you would like to discuss with her? Or are you just simply rubbing shoulders?
Just rubbing shoulders, or like, yeah, just like, passing stories from, one time Jimmy fell off a tree in middle school and everyone made fun of him and called him tree butt or something, I don't know.
Kind of does at one point, after a couple of glasses, say, "Can I ask a personal question?"
If I can ask one for you as well, then yes.
I can do that. Yes, I think I can do that. So, wasn't 100% accurate when I said you didn't strike me as the type who had been previously married. I've met a lot of people before. I've seen a lot of types, and I've lived a few different lives myself. She places the glass a little unsteadily down on the coaster. How old are you?
66.
Let's see. I'd say you don't look a day over 30.
Thank you.
Which is surprising, though maybe less so. Mind you, you still have your veil on. And she
Yeah.
says, there's a lot you can tell about a person from the aura they exude. Being an elf from the Titan's Arm, we tend to be a little more sensitive to that than most. You've seen more than you let on.
Well, I've been traveling for a time. You know,
It's not just that.
there's-
The stories you tell. And the way you act. You're missing something, aren't you?
I am, yes.
I'm sorry. I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Well, really, I should be grateful still because I've met a lot of people who have permanently lost things. But at the very least, in my case, I have some hope of getting it back, maybe, if I work hard enough. Do you
It's a better-
have that same hope?
Unfortunately, I don't. Unfortunately, the things I've lost, they're gone for good.
I'm sorry, Kane.
It's okay. That's life. You lose things, and you move on. You live with it. You try and grow from it. When I set off on my journey first, I was trying to replace the things I had lost. Now, I do it to enrich myself, to be better, and to live the life the people I lost would want for me. I do it to honor their memory. If you can get back what you lost, that is a rare opportunity. And I wish you the best of luck with that, because not a lot of people get that opportunity.
Oh, yes, I know. I will stop at nothing to get it back.
So you should. Now then, you had a question for me.
Yes. What is it that you lost?
Her eyes ever so minutely widen when you ask that. And her eyes divert to the side. She seems to consider whether or not she should even tell you that. One slender cheek comes down onto to the heel of a hand as it sort of smooshes up against her palm. She seems to physically be rolling the words around in her mouth as she thinks about that, as if she was savoring the wine. I've lost a lot of things. I've lost some people. Lost some valuable mementos. Lost my home. Lost my wife. Unfortunately, I can't get them back, any of them. I was once bonded to a dryad, you see. We were sisters, and closer than that, all in one. We were joined at a spiritual level. Not many people know this, but the elvish people of the Titan's Arm didn't always live there.
Oh,
We were migrants, you see. much that more or less is a title that suits many all across the world, but for us, we're, by elven terms, quite recent. We arrived on great wooden ships, living trees with roots that made the hulls. And the captain of each ship was the dryad of the tree that it was grown from. My wife was one such dryad. Captain of our ship, the leader of the colonization movement. We left our home in search of new lands and better things. This was a long, long time ago, mind you. Eventually, we hit land. A strange new place, full of barren mountains and strange creatures. We met humans. Not like the humans we knew. Different. Far less scared. Humans back home had come to fear us a little bit. Here, though, they were curious. And we even found some of us intermingling with them. Those of us who weren't beholden to the old ways and to the dryads. And then I blinked. Suddenly we're hundreds of years in the future, and it's like it had passed in a moment. Great forests had sprung up. Whole cultures had formed. Nations had sprung from the earth and the wood and the stone. Little gods formed in every pebble. Something about that land was ripe for spiritual ascension. So much soul, the dirt itself, and then the trees, and then the rock, and the people. Eventually, though, even the trees that first landed had to pass. My wife set down roots within the coast hero. Eventually, though, tree ships were not meant for eternal life the same way that a normal dryad tree is. They too age and die, but the ones that are exposed to the seawater and the ravages of time more so. She knew the path her life would take when she agreed to bear the burden of ferrying our people across the great ocean. But eventually, she passed. Something as mundane as root rot. I saw her off in her final moments, and I promised her, she made me promise, that I would continue to do the one thing that made us both happy. And that was to travel, see new places, and discover new lands. Why we agreed to the journey in the first place. So I carry a little bit of her with me everywhere I go. She actually reaches into her gossamer thin black dress and pulls out what looks to be a little dry seedling on the end of a string, made into a crude necklace.
I'm very sorry for your loss, but for what it's worth, you are a living testament of history, and you made it, and you lived so long next to your wife. She was very lucky to have you.
I'd be tempted to say it was the other way around. But thank you. Not often I open up. But you're very easy to speak to. We get past the interesting facade of Morticia, Mordani runaway. There's a very sweet girl underneath that. One I would not have expected to find in an establishment like this, but ultimately I find it makes a strange sort of sense that someone like yourself would find themselves in a den of debauchery like this.
You know what? I don't really engage in such activities, but I often find myself in lion's dens. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about me. I'm
think,
sure it's just coincidence.
I think life's current is taking you on interesting journeys, and you're going along with it rather than fighting it.
Yes. And to make it more fair, since you opened so much on your end, I should tell you at the very least that what it is that I've currently lost that I'm searching is my entire family and home and village. It just up and poof in the middle of nowhere,
That's so.
like the wind. Yes. Now I met this very nice gentleman. He hasn't much hair or skin or muscle, but he's very nice, and he's informed me that someone.
Speaking of Harold,
Do you know him? You know Harold? You know Harry? Har?
eventually
Know him?
most immortals tend to run from you.
Well, he is very kind. He's very nice. Well, he
He's
wasn't always that way,
kind
but he did.
Now,
Yes.
I
Now.
would be careful. Sarah. Harry is doing his best to be a good person, or at least a better person. He's making a genuine effort to turn over a new leaf, but I need to remind you of something. Once upon a time, Harold was not a very good person. And as a matter of fact, he made things very difficult for a great many people, and is responsible for some of the losses I faced over the time of my life. While ultimately, in the stream of time, it is a drop in the bucket, and ultimately inconsequential. And I try to let these things go myself. Sometimes, it still bears to keep in mind the things some people have done and may return it. So take care. Harold is extending his help to you, and that means he intends to genuinely help you. But remember, this man was once a Lich Lord.
Yes.
Creatures of such power tend to go overboard when they genuinely put their mind to something. If he ever offers to help you with anything besides the most basic of assistance, the most mundane of things, I would very gently rebuff him.
Right.
If he offers to cast a spell for you, if he offers an artifact to you, I would say no. If he offers you information, then I would accept. Harold is eccentric, which befits his time he spends here and his vacation home. Be careful.
Right. Thank you for the warning.
You're very welcome.
I am
Bit of
aware.
repayment for the conversation.
Yes, and he himself did tell me of. Well, he really only gave one example, but I can only imagine the way he had described himself, how he would be, and it's not. I
How to put
am
this?
not.
Are you familiar with astrology? You're a priestess.
Oh yes,
You are a priestess. What kind of priestess?
of Luna.
Okay, so you're passingly, or should pretty well be, familiar with the astrological signs, correct?
Yes.
Harold has or for the time where he was in charge, had one of the constellations named dedicated to him, I should say.
Oh, which one?
Let me see if I can remember. What do they call it now? Is it the eye that they call it now? yes, if I remember correctly, they call it the Eye. It's the summer constellation, I think. It used to be referred to as the Flag.
Oh. I can see the correlation.
And so it should be no surprise. If he had such a great impact on history that it would cause people to name a constellation after him, he left some considerable marks on history. It
Yes.
was, let's see, but
I can only imagine.
that unpleasant topic aside, if you've got a magical issue and you have heralded, then you're in good hands. I myself was never truly all too bothered with magic. I've dabbled there, and I'm an accomplished mage, relatively. But I could not begin to help. I'm sorry, it sounds as though it's going to be quite a journey for you to. So.
Yes. It's a bit of a bind. Right now, the only lead I have is my village was up and spirited away inside of a snow globe in the hands of some constantly ever-changing, noble, powerful man.
Snow globes are not a very common accessory.
No, and apparently this is a magical item that Harry made himself. It was commissioned, but he wasn't aware of what it was to be used for.
Her eyes narrow ever so slightly. She stares off into the middle distance. She cups her chin in her hand and she says, I've sworn I saw a snow globe of a small village somewhere before.
Did you?
She's like genuinely puzzled for a moment as she's.
Oh, like, really? That's not the alcohol talking, is it?
I think the alcohol's making it harder to remember. It's been some years. I sworn there was some point where I saw something like that, but it was in some richly appointed office. This is what I get for accepting so many invitations to different people's establishments. I'm in. So many people take an interest in me, invite me into their private abodes and offices to try and parade me around and impress me that they all swim together.
It's alright. You are a very well-traveled, lived individual.
Yes,
I can't blame you if you can't remember now. Even
for 1,000
so-
years of memories, all of them just kind of blend together.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I tell you what.
And it was only in the recent few decades. It's shameful. I'm very
Recent?
sorry.
That's probably it. Tell you what. You said you're not very magically knowledgeable. Is that correct?
Well, I did spend at least a couple of decades trying to learn some magic, and I accomplished myself okay. But I'm not like some of my.
Ascending
I'm not
spell.
like some of my people. I can manage a ascending spell here and there. I can do that. That's simple enough.
Should you ever remember, like when you're on the toilet one day or in the middle of some house or whatever, you can.
She gives you a quirk of an eyebrow. Mention on the toilet.
Well, lots of times I forget things when I'm, Anyways, if you happen to remember, you can go ahead and message me. If you do, it would be a great help, and I would reward you for such a vital piece of information.
Siren, I am not Harold. I am not one of the vampires here. I don't require recompense for doing a good deed. If at some point in the morning after the alcohol is cleared up, I can finally remember what exactly I'm thinking of, I will absolutely contact you as soon as possible.
All right. I trust you on that.
As long as you give me your actual name, I can deliver the information to you, no issue. Just hope I can remember. Some office or another with a big wooden desk.
Siren is gonna like fumble in her pouch and take out her like little field journal and the little piece of charcoal she keeps around. She's gonna rip off a piece of paper and write her first and last name on it and hand it to her.
Interesting. Is that your mother's maiden name?
Yes. She decided not to change it, but you know, she kind of couldn't really change it. My dad doesn't really have a last name. That's not really how it works with his kind.
Considers that for one. Siren, I think your enemy might be a dragon.
Are you sure it's not a person? Harry made
Maybe
it seem
both.
like it was a person. Oh, wait a minute. Dragons can shapeshift.
You can.
That would.
I remember.
Make
I
more
remember. I
sense.
can't remember who it was, but the person in question is the dragon. They're a shape-shifting dragon.
Do you know what color?
They're a grandstanding, grandiose, pompous piece of shit, and I cannot remember their name.
It wasn't Orthos, was it?
No, not Orthos. I haven't.
Okay, thank God. I mean,
I've
who
never
is
had
that?
the
I don't
displeasure
know.
of being in his company. Thankfully. I don't think he'd ever take. I don't think he'd ever take kindly from me.
Right, I don't know him.
Give that
I've
man
never
to me.
spoken
How
to
do you know Orthos?
Well, it's a big name, you know.
Not that big.
Oh. Well,
Darren,
from the
you
stories
have
I've
a
heard.
worrying tendency of attracting the attention.
Hey, listen,
creatures
let's not
far
focus on that
outside
right
your
now. Like, it's fairy tales and stories I was a kid. His reputation precedes him.
Right.
Was it what any? Well, I don't know. That's the only the only dragon name I know.
And I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Dragon names are
guess
hard
that
enough
it-
to remember when sober.
Yeah, I know.
You
Very
would be surprised
complicated.
just how long Orthos' actual name is.
Do you know the full thing?
Orthogenitis Halifatractus Bonifacus do this.
Olafanatis.
Yeah, no, try and say that 5 times quickly.
Got it.
It helps also deal with scrying. Led to believe. So, I think she stands up from the bar, need to get home and sober up.
Yes, I will as well. As Siren stands up and then falls flat on her ass. Stands back up.
And I
Like
will
she's totally fine.
pat you under the armpits before you hit the floor face first. As both of you are white woman trashed, as you, she takes you up on one of her slender shoulders and then drags you towards Flick and Mallory.
Hey guys, I made a new best friend.
This one's yours, I believe.
Yes,
Yep, that's her.
I'm sorry.
Make sure she gets some water.
Will do.
What?
That's it.
She,
Only
uh,
if it's hot.
she gives
and
you
mixed
a.
with
Can I actually, when she's handed you off to Flick Mallory, does her best to just tidy you up a little bit, brushes the hair out of your face,
She'll try and tidy herself up too.
brushes your hair behind your ear, but helps get some of the creases out of your ruffly dress, the creases that aren't meant to be there, and then lifting the veil up a little bit kind of gives a small sort of tender caress of the back of her knuckles across your forehead. I hope you remember this when after you wake up, after the alcohol has left your system. Sir, you will find what you're missing. I'll see that.
Yes, I will. I'm sure of it.
And with that, Kanai will stand straight up once more, allowing the veil to fall over Siren's face again. She herself is a little bit unsteady on her feet and says, I'm going to excuse myself now. You gentlemen have a lovely night. Take care of Siren.
You as
Thank
well.
you.
Take care of yourself. Be safe.
Drunk as she may be, Kanai still exits the gambling establishment with a graceful gait as she bids goodbye to the door staff and then disappears into the night.
Yeah, looks like
That-
we need at least one responsible adult.
That's a Morticia.
What?
Huh?
What?
Nothing.
Huh?
Oh,
So-
what?
Cutting away from that, as I believe, actually, I don't think I have a word on what Vark was doing this session. May have been too hasty, which is funny for me. Arya and Carlos are I believe, just going about their day, normally, shopping around a little bit. Shaiko, this is probably where I'm gonna wrap up the session, I think. Assuming nobody else has anything else they want to get done desperately, I do assume that next session is going to be when you guys finally depart from Mordan. They go north, and so that's where I'm gonna wrap things up in the session. Shaiko,
That's me.
after a solid day, night, time stretch of work, you come to your senses exhausted, parched, and starving.
Hell yeah.
As you are in Forge, where the embers are dying, the lighting has long since snuffed out due to not being refreshed. Your eyes sting with the strain of working under firelight and darkness. And as you work the cramps out of your wrists and knuckles, stretch and feel your back ache and strain from spending hours hunched over your projects. It slowly comes back to you just what exactly you did. It's all kind of fuzzy for the time being. You remember firing up the forge, getting work on some fine detail work as you were to get yourself warmed up before you started doing the big stuff. And everything seemed to swim together a little bit past that point. Until now, as you're coming out of this fugue, as every part of your body screams for maintenance, whether it's your throat, it's your stomach, it's your eyes, it's your back, your hands, your knees, which have been scraping across the cobblestone floor of the forge, the workshop. You look around and there's chaos. The forge is a mess. None of your usual neat, practiced methodology, none of your exactitude and well-maintained workspace. Tools are scattered here and there, materials, weapons and bits of armor disassembled and repurposed. Shavings of gold and silver and platinum littered here and there, shattered bits of gems, half-scribed spell formulas and scrolls ripped in half and just all over the workshop. And then you look down. And there, dressed in a simple yukata, with an ornately decorated headband around her forehead, staring back up at you with a placid look. It's a tiny replica of yourself.
What the
And then
fuck did I do?
its head up the head. Here.
Yeah, you're an headache.
Oh, okay. That's understandable. Then as you come to that realization, you ask yourself that question. Its eyes shift, its head turns ever so slightly as it then locks eyes with you. And that's where I'm going to end session.
I'll call it Mini-Me.
I fucking hate. Jay, goddamn it.
Beautiful.
That actually caught me off guard. Fuck you. That caught me off guard.
I had to. I couldn't resist.
I have some what's it called? I have some art. What you can use. It's not finished.
We can worry about that for next session. Hopefully it'll be done by then. Even if not, we can use the in-progress art if need be. But we're not gonna reveal it just yet until the party actually gets a good look at her.
Okay.
Oh my god,
Sounds
Chico has a
good.
daughter.
Fine. I'll send it to you though, Mr. DM.
Okay.
This is the most recent piece that I also. More communications in the work. Don't worry.
All right. With that, thank you guys very much for playing, and for those who came to hang out, thank you very much. I believe that is Jay's gone. Yeah. Thanks for everybody who came by. Take care.
Yeah.
And I'll see you next time.
Woo!
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.